Alrighty, and we are live. Welcome back to another edition of Kai's Musings. We're going to be doing Bruce paints uh, along with that because just that is literally what I do. And sorry about the delay, but I had to grab a fresh air break, and I'm not really a big fan of that advice, but I've got to do it because it's one of the few things I got going on where Uh, it provides me a level of I don't know anxiety release. Nicotine. That's all I'm going to say. Nicotine bad. Kai, I was just asking you before the camera rolled. What do you want to talk about? And you're like, oh, well, there's some stuff in Gilded I want to talk about. And can we go back to that point? You were asking people about questions, during a game. Like, well, let's talk about the game you're playing. Tell me about your character.
Hmm.
And I believe this is where you took over.
Yeah. So, like I said, I've been probing around looking for the idea of more of a real life game that to actually play and to have that important human to human interaction without a keyboard or a monitor and a microphone in the way, where you can actually look at the person you're talking to and actually enjoy their company. But I came to the realization as I'm sitting here talking to people about the game that they're going to play, or that they're playing, and that they have an open seat. So I asked a simple question: what kind of characters are you playing? Like, tell me about your character. So, hey there, Six Nations. But the important question I had to ask was, tell me about your character, because I wanted to hear, because I know I'm in it for more of the story and personal interaction. Combat is amazing. Like, combat is fun. I know that I need to have a conflict in my game, but conflict's going to happen no matter what you do, and you're going to build a character that's going to be interesting and going to fit. It doesn't matter what game you play; it's going to be, you just do.
Should
But
should be interesting, right?
you should be, or you should be able to know that you have enough people to make the game
Jeremy.
interesting, to be able to carry you. If you're not a combat machine, you should have other people to be able to carry you into it and through it, because you have an important skill. Now, when I'm talking to these people, I ran into the situation of, tell me about your character, and what I got back was class, race, level, gearing, feats. They couldn't tell me personality. They couldn't tell me motivation for the character. And I'm like, okay, because all most of you have told me is mechanical. It's like, do you have more to it? What kind of game are we playing? What kind of story are you telling? Why would I want to sit down? And for most players, I realize that when I'm talking to the more tactically focused and more the squad based tactical combat RPGs, which are your generic standard fare fantasy RPG game, that's all that matters, actually. It's like all the talking, the motivation, the plot, the story, everything is secondary to getting onto the technical combat grid and moving through the grid to engage in combat. And this is where, when you ask that question during your game, what is the optimal party size? And that's when I'm like, 8, because that is that is the military's optimal tactical fire team fire team size.
And I'm willing to
One
accept
person,
that. I'm absolutely happy to accept that.
one person in charge, 7 people who do the rest of the job, and then you gear out towards that, and then you build out from the 8-man team, and that's actually very close to Napoleon. I've got books that go back to Napoleonic, or to the British Empire, back down to Rome, where the 8-man team is actually the foundation of even the Roman legions. Um, I had squad sizes. I was like, the Roman legion built around 8s. and the eights moved forward. The German army went with that. Napoleon went with that. The British Empire went with that. The U.S. went with that. You might get a couple variations where it's 9, but 8 is the standard. So, hey, look, how many players do we have? How many NPCs do we need to get up to 8? There you go. There's your optimal there's your optimal team. Once you get bigger than that, you have the same problem that you always have of it's too unwieldy, and but below that you have deficiencies, and you can't operate. You can't take casual. You can't take injuries. You can't adapt very well. You move on from that. But yeah. Anyway, and but when it's like, but if I go and talk to a different kind of gamer who's playing a different game, and I ask them, "Hey, what kind of characters are you playing?" and suddenly you get a much different result. There's like suddenly personality, background, interest, motivations start slipping into it. It's like when you talk to somebody who's playing like a Twilight 2000 campaign, suddenly it's not simply we're all like level 8. It's like, no, you got one guy goes, no, I'm and they'll start filling you in what their character is, was, did. Traveler is, was, did. Mech warrior is, was, did. And here they are. Touching the yes. And that's an actual like look, somebody who's got that down as a skill, I like that one. That's a fantastic. See, that's a cool. Suddenly now you're telling me, okay, cool. Now I know what kind of story I'm gonna drop into, because I'm enjoying a Greek style epic where it's like, no, we're like, yeah, I could be something boring as crap and tell you, yeah, I'm playing a level this, blah race, class this, and this is what my job is in the group. Or I can sit down and go, no, like I chose the job of being the chief, the guy who runs the helm of the boat, because that's an important job, especially when you're doing a Greek epic where, hey, sailing kind of is important for a lot of these jobs, for a lot of these stories, because, well, the Aegean's a bunch of islands, and that's where most of the Greek and the Greek world was. So, when we're telling that kind of story, well, you kind of need to have somebody who drives the boat. Yeah, I could go, yeah, he's a shield fighter who does all the other stuff, but it was more important to say, no, I'm following this person. He's the guy in charge. We're following all this. This is what we're doing. Story works. Story. I think this is where it comes back to one of my where my earlier Gilded posts, which was simply character has to back up the story, where story like personality, background, origins shape the character rather than the idea that the character is built and then you just kind of wrap the story around it. It's like it's two ways to get to the same solution, but I know where I prefer. But when I go into a story where the GM can't really tell me what's going on, the players can't tell me what's going on, and the players just tell me, yeah, our party is a paladin, a thief, a ranger, a cleric, and a wizard. Okay, that's just a generic stock setup. You really haven't told me anything. You're just telling me this is the party composition. What's the party dynamic? What's the motivations? And at that point, when the motivation comes to, well, we're just here to collect treasure, and at that point, I'm like, is there anything else to do? Oh, there's a story going on, and I'm like, well, then what's the story? What's keeping you in here? And the answer you get is, not really. And you just kind of, and so therefore I tune out and go look for, like, I, say thank you for your time. That was a thing. I'll see if my schedule allows me to stick around for this. And no, I scurry the heck out of that room immediately, because I realize this isn't the game I want. And when I listen to people talk online, they fall into a few camps where I listen in and I'm going, is this really what I want? And for the most part, I kind of realized that no, I kind of want to go for I want more character. I want more personality because the moment you start focusing more on story and personality and less on the mechanics drive, where mechanics drive personality rather than personality and drives your mechanical choices, you have more chances for the GM to latch on to an interesting idea, onto an interesting concept that's evolving and developing from the story to give you something of a bonus that's not part of a class. It's not part of a build. It's not part of a mechanic. Suddenly, they start to hint at like you're playing a certain direction. They latch onto your role playing, and they give you a reward for role playing. That's suddenly not at all anything that you were actually doing before that point. And I prefer that kind of play because it goes off the rails fast. And I know some people don't want off the rails. They want the safety of mechanics. They want the safety that no, this is my level build. I planned it out 6 months ago and I know where I want to be in 5 levels. But that kind of goes, then what are you doing? What are you playing? What are you here for? If all you're doing is waiting, going through the prerequisite encounters, and the only thing that's really changing up anything is the order and what items drop for you. So
Yeah.
you might change your build if a different item drops, but that's assuming that you get random loot tables. And that kind of feels like I don't want to pre-plan my entire character's life because at that point I'm why like we should just jump to the end because obviously you've got it all worked out, my friend. What are we playing? Well, I want to know how I get there and what like no, you just need to get through the encounters to get the requisite XP and the gold for your build so you can proceed down the chart because you've already figured out what the optimal well, I've already planned out my gear based on the idea of optimal treasure. I treasure allotment by level, and I'll just modify based on gear. And that's like the only thing you're doing. And like, why are you playing? It's just loot. You're just looking for loot. Well, isn't that enough? And
In video games, maybe.
right, the thing is that I can play video games 6 out of 7 days of the week. I get off work and I can log into a game and play for 3 hours to
Yeah.
3 to 4 hours. And I can do this 4, 5, 6 days a week. If I want to play Path of Exile or Diablo or Borderlands and any kind of looter shooter or action RPG, I can play those whenever I want, as often as I want. But if I only get to play a game once every 2 weeks with this one group, once every 2 weeks for 4 hours, maybe 6 if we decide to go late and be zombies. Like, hey, we're all going to be zombies tomorrow. Let's stay up late and play to midnight. Awesome. Hey, we get 5.5, 6 hours plus the hour of Midwestern goodbyes because nobody could fucking leave. Get out of my house.
And hey, like quick Christmas. I didn't say anything before because unlike most of my generation, I was actually raised with manners, so I don't interrupt people.
Yeah.
So I waited for a quick break in Kai's talking.
Appreciate that. I, as a GM, I like it whenever my players get into the game and they want to get into the world. They want to step into that special place. That's kind of what I want. But at the same time, I'm not going to force them to buy into the Lost Lands. I mean, they're already immersed in it. You're gonna get flavor text no matter what.
Yeah.
You're gonna understand that. I just I have a big love for the campaign I run because I like the way it's ran. I like the way it's written. I like the way their website lays out all the info I need. As a GM, it makes it a little easy for me, but I also understand that there are people out there that they're in my game and they're there not really for the world or for the flavor text, but they're there because they know they're going to be able to enjoy themselves. So they'll deal with the flavor text. They'll deal with the occasional like, hey, we really need to go do this side quest because this is that holiday, and we're not going to have a chance to have this holiday that often. And so they just kind of deal with it. Okay, fine, whatever, Bruce, and they'll work from there. But I enjoy the world. I think the world is super special. I think there's a lot of things to do in it. I think there's a lot of good history there. And as a GM, I find myself in love with the possibilities of things because there's a really interesting set of deities that they don't really like on the surface. You just see like there's 370, 380 deities in the world. And then you start digging and you're like, oh, well, the mother and father were the first quote unquote good gods, but they're really not the super good gods right now. They're kind of on the hiatus, however you want to view it, like AO is for Forgotten Realms. You got these other older gods that you have shrines out in the wilderness that meant something back in the day, and nowadays are just historical landmarks that haven't been gentrified yet. And then you've got in the cities the giant fucking super mega churches that have marble and gold and brass and all sorts of super precious metals to showcase the wealth they've got. But they're kind of like a super church in Houston with Joel Osteen that you go there just kind of like be seen, hi, how you doing? And there's not a lot of things except for the transaction.
Been in those churches. I hate them.
Yeah, I think everybody does. Six Nations, you're in the chat. You're in the panel. So I like the way that they do everything for the Lost Lands. Where are the M&Ms and Mountain Dew? He asks.
Yeah, the green room is devoid of any sort of snacks, man.
No snacks.
We're poor. We don't have anything nice.
I fucked up. Crafting probably already saw it, but I added primer instead of varnish to my figures, so I'm having to redo some of the figures.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry. It happens. You'll have this happen. Oh, it's late. Let me go take care of this, and then I'll get everything just varnished. Blah 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 blah. And then like, oh, this figure's got some gray on it now. That wasn't how that happened. And your interposing hand has got gray on it now. And your rats, the rats you sent off to get painted by a friend of yours who's a really special fucking crafter, like, no. So,
Oh, the blacklight reactive rats.
yeah.
I did that on accident when I had a very well painted collection of Necron flayed ones that I spent forever painting them all up to look really nice, and then primed them all again. I'm like, I'm done. These are going into the trash bin.
I don't want to throw these in the trash. These are fucking beautiful, and they're hard to fucking place because like they don't have slots. Like old GW, old Pathfinder figs have slots. I love slots. These guys don't. You fuck with the base, you fuck with the figure too much, and they get knocked off the base because there's only two little blue spots I got on there with the feet. It's like, oh shit. So shit happens,
It's
kids.
not guaranteed that they'll be balanced either.
Yeah. Well, I tried to balance them as much as possible, but thankfully they're also very base heavy because they got resin in them.
Yeah, the bases are awesome. The bases are literally the selling point for some of these figs.
Well, that was literally the first time I have ever done a sewer base, but I've been thinking about it for months about how I was going to do it. And like, Bruce just gave me a bunch of rats. This is perfect.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you very much.
Oh no! I'm not trying to do any sort of flex there, but I'm just saying, like, I'm happy that I.
Worst case scenario, what you take washers, or if you got spare pennies, depending on the size of the bases, and you glue them on the bottom. It adds weight. It also makes them magnetic.
Okay.
So if you want to be like super and do a magnetic board to hold all your minis in place.
So a lot of gamers use this brush cleaner, and this is a really good one. This is their big fat fucking thing. It's a tub, and you can see the soap of it down way below. I also have a Duke Cannon bourbon soap here, and that shit lathers up so well. And if you ever have like questions about cleaning your brush, just clean your brush. Don't let the paint go in the ferrule. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Does it take?
I wish it did. A good mini company, Lloyd. These rats are GW figs. Saying that, my favorite fig company is Reaper Miniatures, and their August selections, they got the iconic Halfling Bard.
Yeah. Reaper has amazing sculpts. They're all beautiful sculpts. I absolutely hate their plastic. If you like cleaning your figures, then Reaper is not good for you. If you don't mind mold lines and you're just like cut, check, print, moving on, they are amazing.
You have to use certain tools
That's pretty cool.
to get things straight with Reaper figs. Keep that in mind. That said, I don't mind doing the work. I love doing the work. There's the iconic.
Back in the day, Raul Partha was my fave before the plastic.
Yes.
You know, that was at the time when I wasn't buying figures. Apparently, they have a new Hellborn Rogue. I'm not familiar with it. This is
they got a new Demoness and a new Sorceress too.
Yeah.
Of course, I might have learned about those for you, admittedly. Or could have been James.
I really want this. I don't know why.
Penis is optional, right?
Go ahead. Say again, Six Nations.
Is the penis optional?
Penis is optional.
On the Sorceress and the Demoness.
That's not even an option, luckily.
It's a clock. It's a clock and movie
Very for $10. Not bad.
There's one thing that, like, Werner Clock makes amazing miniatures. Like, he's a great sculptor.
So we discovered something tonight. We're going to see another series of shit posting on social media from the Fat Electrician and his friends against Tony Gonzalez, because Brandon Herrera is in the run again for that House seat every 2 years. This will be interesting.
Oh, no. That's going to be epic.
Going to be fucking epic.
I mean, he was 400 and some change from actually getting the position. The dude spent millions of dollars.
Yeah,
Tony
he
was a
spent
chump.
like $13 or $11 million to Brandon's $1.5 million.
And then barely eked it.
Barely eked it out. Like, if you look at the county map for the Texas
A
district
career
they're
politician nearly lost it to a gun tuber.
I mean, he's
So
Freaking awesome.
he's only one poll before Brandon got in, so he's in there for one one term, but the fact he was able to pull the House rep, the House boss, the speaker, and the Speaker of the House came down in politic forum.
I might have gotten the link for you, Bruce, through you, Bruce. But these are the miniatures I was talking about. When I have a few bucks, I intend to get them.
Let me stop screen sharing. Where's the link at?
They're in private chat. Both of them are titties, so I don't know if you want to show those off on YouTube or not.
I think I actually have the Chaos Sorceress.
Well, I definitely want her. Like she would fit in any sort of chaos army for Warhammer, and at the very least, she makes one hell of a good-looking witch.
Yeah,
because she has that perfect air of ugly and hot.
Yes, she looks like something you would find on the interwebs. Good God. Okay.
Hello, nurse. Oh, good God. Ah.
And then they've got the Chaos.
Oh, the demon?
This figure here, I think I even have this.
Well, like I said, I might have gotten these links through you. I just haven't gotten around to getting them yet.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Do you like cake? Here's some cake. I'm a pie guy myself.
Reaper Miniatures there, Lloyd. Best mini company I feel is out there. They do a lot. They have a lot of lines. They figuratively and purely, but they're one of the best, and they don't really fuck up a lot.
Yeah, they're entirely in the U.S.
I'll agree with Bruce. Like I said earlier, my only complaint is how hard it is to clean the plastic.
Yeah,
well, that and they're in the older models, not the newer ones, but the older models you can find really bad mold splits occasionally. But that is occasionally, and I have not seen it after a certain, I think after Bones Black. One of their like mid-range from their old stuff to the new stuff. Past that point, it doesn't really give you mold splits. They're almost perfect. Almost all of them are perfect. Where GW, I don't know if it's supposed to be part of the fucking foot or if it's a mold split on Death Leapers from the Hive Tyrants. But if they're supposed to be like split hooved, they look like they have a mold split in the feet.
Now, the other company that's really good, but you have to have a 3D printer to print them, is Loot Studios.
Yeah, they're really good.
That's what Chris got into.
I get so well. Loot Studios is also a hit or miss because just because you're paying for it doesn't guarantee you'll get good models since they have a bunch of different modelers. But a really good. Hold on a second. Let me get them back up. I was looking at them earlier to see if there's some of their stuff was on sale yet. Here we go. Now, if you want, as much as I like Reaper, if you're wanting to buy All American, then yeah, Reaper's your company. But if you don't mind European and want something that can 100% compete with GW, one of the most famous companies in the world, Archon Studio, which I just put a link for Bruce to put into chat. These guys have just as well. Actually, no, I've played with their newer plastic. Their plastic is better than GW. It doesn't. Okay, GW plastic is springy in comparison to the new Archon Studio plastic. They actually have just as good, if not better, sculpts than GW. They're not as. They have yet. They still have a few fiddly spits. You want to go to the shop. The brand just shows you the brand.
Honestly, it's not very hard to get better than GW if you look at their faces. GW's faces are fucking miserable.
That is true. Even their new face, I've got some of their new faces, and I wouldn't exactly say they're not bad. Compared to the old ones, they're great. But compared to like these guys here, who I've seen some of their faces of, these guys have much better faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, their sculpts, like ultimately, like I like the sculpts a little bit more. They're a little bit more controlled. You still have a lot of things with high detail like GW, unfortunately. but they're also not as sporadic. Where GW feels like open space, put something there.
Yeah.
So
That
in
is
fact,
really
the only reason
cool.
why I'm still buying
Checking
GW is
out leak
because of the
videos.
models themselves. I love the sculpts. I love the look of a lot of the models. If Archon Studio could pull off the same aesthetic and similar looks, I'd probably pretty much stick with them.
Who makes the big orcs that all of the old grognards go apeshit for? Because
Oh, yeah.
that right there is something that I want at my table. The Gamorrean Guard orc look.
Oh yeah.
Old school
Give
big
me
beast
that.
orcs.
That there's some good ones out there that I have to ship in from Britain, and they look fucking fabulous.
Yeah, like an excellent example of what I mean by because their prices. I think I forgot to say this. I think I might have. Their prices are better than GW. I have a Balor. Basically, it's a Balgor demon from Lord of the Rings. Except this one's pronounced Balor. But it is by size and beauty. You can easily proxy that for a what the fuck is he called? A demon a very powerful demon from GW, and unless you specifically know that model, you would never know. But here's the big thing: the demon that I'm talking about, over $100. The demon that comes from Archon Studios, less than 40.
Yeah.
Oh, so a bloodthirster versus a Balor.
Yeah, no, it's the demon that's made up of all four gods. He's about the same.
Oh.
The Balor is about the same size as that one. Oh, what the fuck is that one called? Worst part is, I was just talking about him not that long ago with somebody finding out that Vashtor. If I like demon engines, Vashtor is the demon to
Yeah,
go with.
Vashtor, but he's also not. He's he's an arc fiend, but he's not a greater chaos god. He's an independent being, but he's the one that all chaos gods go to get their war engines, and that's like the coolest of all of them.
Uh-huh. That's part of the reason why I love him.
I kind of feel sorry for Reaper because back in the day they had this really hopeful line of figures for Warlord, their in-house skirmish level game, and they had different factions, and they were all metal figs. That's the thing that you had to think about. You like if you got into Warlord, you're like, okay, I've got to vary my paint techniques because this is a little different than plastic. And this was still when plastic was the new miniature coming out, and they weren't really that good yet. So you could either buy a $2 Reaper Bones fig, or you could buy like an $11 Warlord figure. If it was a mounted figure, it'd be like 15, or a larger base figure, it'd be about like that. And they still sell Warlord figurines. They just stopped the Warlord push because they realized nobody plays the Rage Engine games. Reaper Adventure Game Engine is more dead in the water than support for Battlecruiser AD through Battlecruiser 3000 AD, which Kai should have PTSD right now.
Yes.
If you ever played that game, I feel for you because they put it on the cover of PC Gamer, and they were trying to market it as like this is going to be the best game of all time. There will be no other game compared to this. And boy, that really didn't work for that at all.
No.
Buggy as hell. Couldn't get into the second mission. Just continuous like patching. 3-4 years after the game was released. I don't know what happened there. Okay. Restream. Fix yourself.
I
Sorry, be right
absolutely
back.
had to look it up. It is Be'lakor. That is the name of the demon, Be'lakor.
You all right, Kai?
Taking off like that sounds like a
Yeah.
bathroom emergency.
Anyway, that game was just fucking terrible, and they released it in a state where it couldn't be played. They tried re-releasing it a few times. They had like 4 different separate releases under different box art. And if you send in $10 and your receipt or your proof that you had the other game, they'll honor it, and for $10 instead of $60 or $50, you get that.
Yeah.
The game was terrible.
You know, the worst part about you messing with the miniatures is I had forgotten that you said you had accidentally done that
Yeah.
earlier. So I was like, I must have made him too bright for him. Oh well. And then you reminded me. It's like, oh shit, that's what happened. Fuck. Now I
Yeah.
feel like I can ass. Like, but yeah.
I mean, this happens. I apologize. I shouldn't be handling figures when I'm tired. Should be playing.
I have yet to do that, but that is because I actually have a hard rule. I kind of stopped messing with certain easily scropable things after a certain point, but that was a hard set rule before I started getting into miniatures because of shit like that.
Shit like what? Sorry, I missed that last.
Bruce priming the miniatures brown gray by accident. Excellent example. One time I went to stitch a piece of leather together. When I went to pound out the leather, I thought I was following my original lines, and I wasn't. Like for the hunch holes, and I wasted a fairly good size. Well, not wasted, but I had to recut it, which meant I wasted leather of a good chunk of leather. So it's like, ugh. And after that mistake, I decided after a certain point in the night, I'm done doing shit like that. So I don't make those kind of mistakes. But like I said, I came up with that rule long before I got into miniature, so I have yet to do that.
I'm
with
still a
miniature,
fairly new painter. I've been painting less than 10 years.
No.
All of my friends that paint have done it for over 20, 25. Kai has figures that are that are older than his player characters. That
I do.
Players in this game.
I've been painting for less than a year. No, just over a year. Excuse me.
Just be careful. That's the main thing to worry about. Just please be careful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I certainly will. And I actually have to be extra careful because I don't just paint miniatures for me, so it's bad enough when I make a mistake. I actually paint miniatures. Sorry, my internet said it went funky for a second there, so I wanted to make sure I could be heard before saying any more. So if I screw up, that's like literal, because now I have to take the time to repaint it.
There we go.
Well, I figure after I can.
Though, admittedly,
Go ahead.
I was say, admittedly, part of the reason why I paint, because if I don't, I tell you right now, I would have more miniatures than I would know what to do with. Have you seen the episode of Squidmar where they visit the man with 16,000 painted miniatures?
Not yet.
Well, he has so many
That's good
miniatures.
news, Hunger.
He has enough money that he literally lives in a mansion. And even with living in a mansion, those 16,000 miniatures take up so space. He doesn't have room for his wine cellar. He doesn't have room to eat. He literally eats off his, at least he probably doesn't anymore, but he was eating off his lap for a while because he had no table space. Literally any open surface that could hold a miniature had miniatures. So he
Is that a
decided to
hobby
open
or
up
a
a museum.
Yes.
For him, it was neither. It was more of an addiction.
Okay, the latter.
His story is he started off when D&D miniatures first started getting popular because he was a D&D player. Well, they started off as just painting the miniatures, so they had a painted miniature. Well, then one day someone said, "Hey, what do you think of this miniature?" I was like, "Oh, this is nice. I could use it as a giant." He's like, "No, no, no. You don't use it as a giant. It's a display piece." Well, what am I going to do with the display piece? You display it. And that started him down in a spiral of addiction of painted miniatures, display pieces, busts, and everything you can imagine. He even has life-size life-size fiberglass statues of actors, life-size
Jesus.
busts.
That's kind of crazy. I'd like to welcome to our.
That's like
All of them. Here's the key point, though. All of them were painted. They were none of them cast in color.
Ungar, are you home?
wow.
Oh, you're not home yet.
So technically, every single, even the big pieces in his collection are quote unquote miniatures, or at least hand painted.
Y'all
So it's
remember
like,
that episode
wow.
of Kids in the Hall? The girl drunk. He's like
I
hanging
didn't
out with
watch
his
much
boss,
TV
and
as
his
a
boss
kid.
is like, "Here, have this drink." He's like, "Oh, I don't drink." He's like, "It's like candy. You like it? Try it." And then he starts drinking the girly drinks. He gets all addicted to the girly drinks. That guy with the miniatures reminded me of that episode.
Oh, Kai, I'm pretty sure you will
What?
understand this. I have fallen into the hole of Warhammer 40K in the painting department, where when you run into a miniature that doesn't have that much detail, you're like, "Where's the detail? I know I'm missing something. I can't possibly be done with this thing yet."
You just start adding detail at that point.
Yeah, I actually have. Like, I didn't like how the top. Like, I'm going. In this case, it's a. What are those basically ghouls from Age of Sigmar called? Fuck. Corpse eater, corpse or what? Quartz or whatever. Fuck. They're ghouls at any rate. Like I've painted one up purple and then went up to a very like dead fleshy purple for the top bits, which compared to the dark purple almost looked white. So I had to put a darker contrast color in. So I put little red on the edges to make it look like it's torn or inflamed flesh, which actually looks both terrible and good at the same exact time. I can't tell if that's because I didn't paint it right or because I don't like the way it looks.
One of the two.
Thank you, Ungar.
Yeah.
I hope you get home soon. I just was trying to kill a fly, which has somehow we've got like the occasional house fly that gets in. Don't ask. So it's like
I live in a shed that I constantly keep closed. I have every single window has the netting on it, and yet somehow I ended up with a motherfucking horse
I
fly
have the
in
same
my
problem.
shed.
Horseflies bite, and that sucks.
Yes.
No bueno.
I'm more referring to the size of this motherfucker. Like, how the hell did something that big get in my shed?
Without you hearing him like open the fucking knob and get the door open.
Yeah. That's okay. I dealt with it in between the game and now, but still, it's like trying to figure out how something that big could sneak its way into my shed.
I'm trying to find it, and I can't seem to find it. It was a tutorial on painting Strictarn camo, like East German Strictarn rain camo on miniatures. And I don't know if they meant like larger miniatures or, your standard 28 millimeter or what have you.
I've discovered ways of cheating on that. I have recently purchased a crap ton of nail steel press plates. Most of them only have one or two designs I want on them, but those designs are badass and great for grimdark miniatures. The nail press plate is literally you just put nail polish on it, you scrape off what you don't need, you press a silicone stamp on that, then you press the nail polish to whatever you want, and you have a stamp. But I recently bought some camo stamps, so I can literally just print camo on my miniatures, or stamp camo on my miniatures. And then for larger miniatures, there's actually a really nice technique, which is you just take like silly putty. You do the base color, you take some silly putty, make sure you got it on a good amount of the areas, and make sure it's all random patterned. Spray over that, and just repeat that multiple times with different colors. And you'll have what looks like a layout. Not perfect, but it looks a lot like layered camo.
I forgot how good this company is.
Hungar, that happened to my cousin, except it was a bee, and he's allergic to bees too. And it landed right in his crotch and decided to start stinging him there. Didn't get through his jeans, but he overcompensated.
Oh,
Hit some gravel on the side of the road, flipped a brand new Beamer,
yeah.
rolled like 2 or 3 times. Completely demolished the car, but he survived unscathed. The bees probably flew out the window beforehand.
Wow.
Fucked up.
Wouldn't be a big surprise if the bee literally got flung out of the car.
I had a bee get in my car in 2015 when I was leaving. I was leaving this place in Midland, Texas, going back home, and I didn't realize it. I had just taken off my coveralls. I had these thin little shorts on, and driving along. Ow! Ah! And he fucking stings my nutsack. And he kept stinging my nutsack, just drilling the shit. This yellow jacket, this invader, fucking just drilled me like for 17 or 18 seconds, long enough for me to get off on the side of the road, take a deep breath, and look down and see this thing on my shorts just drilling me. Now, these shorts are not like the ones that I was wearing a year ago, which my balls would flop out. They were short. They were about knee length. Typically, when I stood walking and such, they would go about mid-thigh when I'm driving. And all of a sudden, this thing is just beating the hell, just speed bagging my ball sack with this stinger. And I got pulled over and I smacked it, and I realized I'm smacking my balls, and I don't care. I need my function. And I killed it. And then I sat there for like 20 minutes. And I called my parents back. I said, something just happened. I just got like stung by a stinging insect on my testicles. By the time I'd driven the 5 hours from where I was outside of Crane, Texas to San Antonio, my balls had swollen to like a grapefruit. And it was like just the most uncomfortable feeling I've ever had in my life. I treated with so much salve. I went through 2 tubes of triple antibiotic ointment. I applied peroxide to myself, which I don't really recommend for everybody, but it did provide a nice fizzy sensation, like I just drank a Topo Chico through my asshole. But I don't recommend anybody go through that. That was terrible. That's the most pain I've ever been in my life. One of my brothers got hit in the chest by a wood hornet when we were standing in the back of a truck going 30 miles per hour when we were kids.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Used to ride it on the back of the bed and hold on to something on the front of the windshield, and you let people come on, slap the top of the truck, let's ride. And yeah, that's not a great thing to have that happen to you.
No. I may only be in my 35, but oh no, 34. Excuse me. Anyway, uh, I uh, I grew up at the tail end of that kind of stuff where you could still ride in the back of the truck because nobody was patrolling the dirt roads, and even if they were, they didn't give a shit because you weren't on the highway. You you didn't have to ride a seat belt on the back road, so I still remember the 8 foot bench as a kid because I was that young when that shit just started to hit. It's like I grew up in the weird transition. If you were in the cities, you didn't get the transition. You were just boom, new laws. But if you lived in the dirt like I did, you got the transition, which was really nice. Anyway,
Yes.
Kai, back on the gaming topic out of curiosity. Uh, I've been looking at the Organic Towns book. My biggest complaint happens to be the time it
Oh,
takes to
what's your
build things.
problem?
First off, the houses take
Yeah.
a month. A real house, like if you're unless you're talking like a full day modern house, you're gonna have that shit up in a week. And if you want more, and if you want a house like modern time, you build afterwards. So why should a house take a month? And then you have like this building, the academy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it says it takes 2 months. Wait. A literal multi-part structure that's going to, and I'm not even talking about modern day. I'm talking about the way they would set it up in past times. Literally a multi-part structure that is going to house at least
Mm-hmm.
100 students and probably a third of that in the way of staffing is supposedly going to get built in two
Yep.
months. It's like that feels like more like from my understanding, I could be wrong, but my understanding is like that's like a 4 to 6 month project back then, if not more.
Ungar,
No.
take care of yourself, buddy. So it's good to have you in the chat, and I want you to get better, man. Please.
Good night. Good
I know
night,
you
man.
got problems, but it's always good seeing you.
You also got to remember that for most of these game engines, the average time for a kingdom turn is a month. So, what point? The question you have to ask is if you're building things on a 1 month scale, as in that is the amount of time it takes to get another kingdom turn or another turn.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if it says, well, it's only 0.25 of a turn. It doesn't matter, especially if you can. Also, when you're looking at most of these kingdom things, that's not a house, a single house. That's a block. That's a housing area which houses a number of people in it. So it's not just simply you're building a house for a single person. It's you're building a block, and you're building parts of what would be like a subdivision or an apartment complex, or this is a number of this is where you're going to dump 25 to 100 people into in for population purposes. That's
Okay.
I know it sounds easy to go, well, I can build I can build a house fast, but you're not building one. That would be if I'm going to use Ultimate Campaign / Kingmaker as an example. That the house is a city block of housing, and I'm going to guess that. I haven't opened Organic Towns in a few minutes, so let me reopen Organic Towns.
Yeah, I was about to say I'll track down house. I didn't read like every little detail, but as soon as it said house, it's like,
Yeah,
okay,
but
that
that's
takes way too
also
long to build. And now if it said
it's
housing,
it's
I wouldn't have
probably
anything to say.
housing. And while the academy should take longer, but again, it's usually trying to streamline and simplify something down to how long it should take. Plus, is it an academy? Like, we look at it as an academy, or is it like a grand college that you're building? Sorry, I'm trying to find where the
Oh, it's hold on. It's a PDF page.
okay, there it is. I found my copy.
Where college starts.
I gotta reopen it.
Oh, okay. Okay, let me get to
What page are we looking at for?
That's here. The Academy, which is where it starts,
52.
is PDF page 54.
All right.
And inside that zip folder I uploaded, there's a secondary document for the sheet for the settlement. Every settlement gets its own sheet, like a town would with Kingmaker.
And that's actually pretty cool. I keep finding like reasons to have other types of sheets besides character sheets. Like in this case, I've already decided I need to build a ship character sheet. Now I got to build a town character sheet.
Here's the explanation why it takes only 2 months. Because the Academy level 1 is what you're looking at here, is just a library.
Yeah.
The Academy level 2 requires you to have a workshop in your town, but it takes 4 months for the upgrade to go from from 1 to 2. So you're now looking at a 6-month building program, and because you need to also have lumber and stone available. And once you've hit the level 2, upgrading to level 3 is another 6-month project. You're actually looking at the idea of it's nearly a year-long project, and it's costing you a lot of resources to hit the 1 year program. So it's not. I mean, if all you really want is a simple like library where you can teach people and and have your adventurers show up to do some researching, yeah, 2 months is all you need. But then again, that's just 2 months to build a room that doesn't leak and put some shelves up, and then to stack your books up.
Yeah. Well, if that be the, I admittedly I didn't read too much into it, but that's because I am fully admit I expect things to be intuitive.
Oh, no, it's intuitive.
And this is not intuitive,
but it's right in the it's literally right in the prerequisites, and there's the upgrade process of one.
Okay, I want it to be reading impaired intuitive, which means when you read the name, it means what it means. Not read every single paragraph and word in it.
Oh yeah,
you're not going to get it.
That's kind of where I mean, a few pages down, you have the arena, which arena tier 1 is a gladiator pit. It's just a retaining wall, some seating, and a place for people to stab each other. And then it goes up to amphitheater and then coliseum. But that's a major, well, and it also unlocks what comes with it, and so it works. It's an interesting, I like it because there is the upgrading system to it. Plus, it means that you're not just simply just airdropping a city that's fully grown. It's like it takes time and effort, and
oh yeah, well, that I'll fully admit that's one of the things I kind of didn't like about Kingmaker. It's just literally if you have enough money, you can go.
Your limit in Kingmaker comes down to how many executive orders you can have to building new structures. Because you're allowed to build one new house for free without issuing a command, and then you had one additional build command that comes from like each number of people who's in. So it would take a lot of you would need an established, fully functioning bureaucracy to be able to just airdrop a major city into place in short order. It does take time to issue your decrees. The problem is that if you're issuing all your decrees as build decrees, you're not issuing tax decrees or raising troop decrees or all your other orders necessary to do anything besides build. Which, if all you are as a land developer and you're trying to like establish yourself, yeah, blow all your orders on building. But if you have to do something like, I don't know, defend your border, sending out those, I'm mobilizing the troops, training them, sending them out, that takes commands, and trying to raise taxes takes commands, and there's so much more that goes into it that we just ignore it because it's so like, well, why would I need that? Because those are major undertakings that is being represented by those orders and commands. It's like you can it's supposed to represent the limitations of power and being a king. Like, you can't just do it entirely by yourself. It's actually almost kind of the reason why adopting a city-state mentality where you just build one Waterdeep sized town where it's just one city and you have no additional cities is probably the smartest way of playing it. But the problem there is that eventually you do run into limitations. The limitations are not easily found. That's the important thing, is that you're not. It takes a long time to hit the limits of tall. Very long. I think it was something like, it's like you need to build one city for like almost like 10 to 15 years where all you're doing is build every single turn for like 15 years to run into the problem of not having enough food and water to support that city. And at that point, you're a massive mega city that, rivals the capitals of ancient times. So if you want to be able to say to yourself, yeah, I want to run Constantinople, or I want to run Rome as one city, or Athens, you can do it. You can run an Athenian city state in Kingmaker with one hex and the surrounding 6 hexes. You can run a pretty bitchin'ly big empire, and if anybody even walks into your territory, you can obliterate them with the amount of power that you have in that one hex. And then you look at anybody, and plus you're still at the threshold where everything is cheap. Everything is super cheap. Because remember, with Kingmaker, that game is that if the bigger your empire, the more expensive things get. But if you have under 10 hexes of control under your belt, as in 9 hexes, you're sitting here at like dirt cheap building everything. So you can explode up to this massive city with huge rolling, every street is paved, magical lights. There's undead machine, like you have machinery working the fields. There's windmills, there's water pumps, there's cemeteries, there's yes.
I do have to interrupt real quick. I don't know. Interrupt. Connell's here.
Hello.
The only time I ever interrupt.
It's like you can have the grandest cathedrals, the most massive of everythings, and everything is legitimately huge for a budget, like on just like pennies on the dollar, compared to somebody who was like, I have like this monstrous empire, and you're like, you can't afford shit, dude. You send one legion out, and it's costing you like $4,000 to $6,000 a week to have one legion go out. I dispatch my legion, and it's legitimately like, I make back that money in my sleep, and it's kind of hilarious where you start figuring out the economics of wide versus tall, and you get to get really wide to match what really tall can do.
Well, one of the things that this game does, or the Organic Towns does, is you don't get to keep your points more than a month. Like, they don't roll over.
How's it going, Paul?
Well, long story or short story.
Either.
Well, Kai was a little bit on the
How about a you story?
kick, and I enjoy talking to him and listening, talking about Kingmaker. No one wants to hear about. I had a car accident this past Sunday involving
Wow.
a black cow.
Holy
A
shit!
black fucking cow.
Oh, so an ex-wife.
Well,
Got
it's
it.
ironically say the
You
ex-wife
do
because she
damage
was
to the
right
car,
next
but
to me. That was her car.
fucking cow. Oh,
No, very long story short. Driving back from St. Louis, going on Highway something in Fulton County back to Pekin. I was driving. All of a sudden, a pitch black cow came out of nowhere, and before I could say "fuck," I hit it. But I was smart enough to weave away, so the brunt of the accident was on my side. So I took most of the damage. Ended up in the hospital for about 17 hours with a with a micro brain bleed.
Wow.
Ugh.
And Bruce, you've known me for a while. I don't normally stutter. I'm fairly, I don't know what the right word is.
You mess up on library, but that's about it.
Right. I was stuttering like I was a poor bastard from It. It was bad.
Richie?
Yeah, it
Is
was
that you?
that bad. Johnny boy, let's go
Wow.
to bed. Bad. So outside of that, I'm doing good. I feel like I had a car accident involving a cow. But my cigars are still good. But back to the concept of Kingmaker. European state countries had, let's say Venice, not Venice. Venice was a weird story, weird situation. Let's say Rome.
Why are
For
you saying Venice is a weird story? Is it because of the fact that most of it's submerged?
Well, it doesn't exactly work with the analogy, the thought processing I have. That's why I'm saying it's just a weird city. Uh, for every 5 blocks, you needed like 2 farms just to feed it.
Yeah.
Do you want the answer to that?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Okay, so the rate upon which you need to be able to have a hex with a farm in it that's generating food was one sheet. So one 3x3 grid
yeah.
requires one consumption of a farm hex. So, but the thing is that you can actually have multiple of those sheets within one city hex. So you can actually have multiple district sheets. So if you can, the total amount, say you have a river which you can put fishing on, farming. So you can actually support something around like base 7 upwards to 9 districts from just the farming that you can sustain around you, depending on how the river district, how your river and lake and water layout goes. So you can actually stack stuff together, and as long as one consumption is one district, and one district is one 3x3 4 grid of 2x2s in a 3x3 grid, and that's one consumption. So, like I said, you can get 7 districts base in one hex, and without having a problem. And it's like, what the? Wow. I mean, sure, you're not supporting an army at that point, and
Well,
at that point, you got to spend money to pay for food because
with an army, you technically, it's no big secret. Army marches on their stomach.
true. But and the thing here is that armies armies in Kingmaker had 3 states. You had them either as garrisons, or or an active formation or being marched. If you had them as in a garrison status, their consumption was like at half. If you had them as standing active, but they were in a community, you only paid their consumption price once a month. And if they were actively deployed in the field and having to marching off to war and doing something, their consumption rate became once per week. So it multiplied by 4. So garrison garrison guard duty is what they do. They're not like it takes an order to mobilize them, and it takes a month. So like okay, so as long as you can see the threat coming, you can mobilize and pay the unit up to standing, or you can just pay the build price once and their BP consumption value once a month, and all they're doing is just sitting there on the walls ready to go, but they're just they're a great reaction force. But if you want to do anything offensive or take them out into the field, well, at that point you're starting to look at how far can they travel per week, and
Right.
it becomes super expensive.
I know outfielding, and this doesn't really have to do with. I mean, you could add this inertia into your game, which I love adding real life shit into fantasy games, because for nerds like me and Kai and Bruce, a little bit of realism in a game goes a long way. And this the stew pot, was the most common kitchen item that armies had. Every guy out of 5 group of 5, one guy had to carry the soup pot, because soups and stews can last. They can be thinned out as much as it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought that was interesting on the mechanic of that one. Before there was a soup pot, there was a shield. I mean, the Mongolians used their shield to cook on. I mean, that's how we got the wok. Not really, but kind of.
This concept even ended up in Naruto. One of the oldest ninjas. It was called. I think the episode was called Forever Genin. The one of the oldest ninjas, who was literally the lowest totem you could, had a giant wok on his back, which he both used as a shield and a way to cook. In fact, he was favored partially because he cooked on missions.
You're always the crowd favorite if you know how to cook, and unfortunately, American white people don't like that thing called spices. I don't know why.
Hey, even I have to admit, I'm a northern wimp, but even I'm starting to get an appreciation for a little bit of heat.
This is too spicy. You're eating mayonnaise.
I love spices. Have you seen my spice cabinet?
Oh, it's probably better than mine at the current moment. Although Costco had a sale on saffron that made me giggle. I had like 5 of them in my hand. I'm like, I can buy a small kingdom with this. My daughter's like, what the hell's wrong with you?
You don't even understand. How would you ever taste anything and enjoy it again?
Now, Kingmaker is Pathfinder. I'm more used to Kingmaker out of Pathfinder. I think the concept of just that could and should be used in any system that you want. Let's say you're playing Traveler, you're planet hopping. I'm not saying there's not other systems that use it. I just know it because of Pathfinder. But it's a fun one. A world building society.
Musings, are you there?
There's an entire handbook. It's several hundred pages long. It's the World Builder Handbook. It's amazing. If you want a discount cheaper version of it, there's the Interstellar Operations Handbook that came with BattleTech that has how to. I want to build a planet. I want to build a planet in Civilization, but I don't want to do it in Traveler, and that's an option. There's so many ways to do this. There's so many fun ways to build it. I enjoy it immensely.
I just want to be in a campaign where my character retires on a tobacco farm, and he's known for his cigars. I don't know why though.
Hey, too bad you aren't in the lower level campaign still. I'm going to be getting a place near Rapana Fluck, and it's in an area where you could grow tobacco.
Yeah, I plan on, as long as Bruce, continuously has a spot for me, I do plan on jumping back in that game. I need my life just not to suck.
What your character's not dead. He's just currently in the employ somewhere else of the Traders and Coasters
Gotcha.
Guild.
So are we talking about world building tonight? Is that the topic?
It just go wherever the hell we want.
Well, originally
Okay,
it was
I just with
Yeah,
my
that
ADD,
tends to be it.
with my ADD, I try to stay on topic, and I
Well, the thing-
just want to make sure.
Well, the thing is that we were just talking. Okay, let's see things we covered tonight. We started with players can't tell players can't tell good stories, and then we go to how the fuck do you not build a house in less than in a week until you realize that you're building a house for 10 people, and then you're like, oh, okay, it's an actual district. Okay, got
Yep.
it.
Unless you're Amish, it's going to take less. It's going to take more than a week.
Right, but even a
I was referring more to 4 walls and maybe
Right.
an inner wall
But-
or two.
So
but then when you read into what house level 1 is that it's a house for 10 that can house 10 people, and it has a chimney, a kitchen, and everything else in it. And unless you're going to have 10 people living, shoulder to shoulder in a New York apartment, and
Yeah.
then you realize that
Yeah.
tier 2, when you go up to tier 2 housing houses 60, and then it becomes tier 3 housing, which houses 250 people.
I've
then you
seen
realize,
trailers. I've seen trailers that have 10 people in it, and that's not a house.
Right, but a trailer is also assembled and built somewhere else, far distant, and shipped in, and then dropped on. It's like that's not built. That's built
Hey.
somewhere else and then hauled in.
Right. I'm just saying,
Maybe-
structuring.
Maybe that's what I should do. Make the mobile trailer equivalent of.
So
Actually,
what you're
the
trying
way
to say here is that you're trying to build everything on the what's the term for it? The standard shipping units, cargo containers.
What you do is you get yourself a cart with 2 horses and a cart, right, with a big bed, and you suck up to the most powerful wizard and the who can sew, and you have them make you a bag of holding that fits over the wagon. So now you have it's more of a Vargo, but
A wagon of holding.
it can hold up to 10 to 60 people if the spell is done correctly.
Look, if you want to introduce into your D&D game the idea of the standard intermodal container system has been introduced, established, and is now a functioning way that things are shipped in your fantasy world, I am all for that. If the only thing that survives our civilization is the 20 and 40 foot standard containers, and that everything is built around this, I'm okay with this plan. I like the idea of. Well, actually, no. If it's a D&D world, it's probably going to be 10 to 20 foot containers because the standard wagon was 10 foot, and you want an extended wagon that's 20 foot long, and then you just have the idea of a crane that just picks up and drops the container onto the wagon, which is definitely the intermodal system, and we just run with that. And at that point, we can now revolutionize how ships are loaded and unloaded, and how wagons are loaded and unloaded. Now every road can be standardized to, and since honestly we're playing D&D, so everything should be standardized to. Well, of course it's going to be of course every wagon is 10 foot wide and 20 foot long, and therefore we have a standard wheel size and a standard compartment size. Everything is now standardized, so that way when we make the transition to rail, well, we already have everything standardized, and now we know how big a cargo compartment is on our sailing ships, so we know how big everything is moving here. Now we know exactly how big. Now when you're trying to like design something, you're trying to figure out, well, can it fit into the box? Yes or no? And suddenly, the glory of a world where everything is measured in 5 foot cubes is just wonderful. And it's like this is the standardized shipping dream has now been realized by literally the idea that no, everything has a standard movement and a standard size, and you're like, this is the most glorious, like like D&D. The D&D world is literally a quartermaster's logistics officer's dream world because everything is standard. Everything is measured. Everything has a size and a weight, and gloriously, everything fits.
Everything is pure.
I just gave every OCD guy an orgasm with your statement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
And as for the crane,
no, well, hey, going back to going with what you said, and with the magic, with the bag of holding. I mean, in the high level Bruce game, we have a traveling farm. As long as nothing bad, even if something bad happens to the bag, it's in its own plane of existence. So we have to just be able to pop back in and pop back
You know
out.
what happened the last time they had an extra planar space? Do you know what happened?
Does this involve me, Shadow, and
No,
Big Greg?
no.
Oh, okay.
Let me find the cover of the book.
Fuck. Oh, I feel like I was in a car that hit a cow. Oh God, I hurt. I'm just kind of moving on with my life. But no, I did not get to keep any of the meat. Ironically, that has been the most asked questions.
oh well, that's as well. Given where I live, I already know the answer to this. You're not allowed to keep roadkill.
Yeah, you can. And if you hit a deer, at least in Illinois, you hit a deer, the police would come. They look at the deer, make sure it wasn't, purposely, if it was accidentally. And if you want to take it home with you, they will tag it and let you take it home with you.
Oh no, not around here. But that's because we have too many idiots who would hit the deer on purpose.
Apparently, you've never been to Illinois.
Yeah, Illinois is a special land full of special education people.
Look
See
at our
this?
governor.
See this fucking
Mhm.
thing? That attacked the extraplanar N that Chris had built one time.
Yes.
And
What is
that is an ethereal dreadnought. It
That's
goes
just
around places between the planes and finds ethereal extraplanar storage places, and it just empties shit out and puts it in its bank vault. And fucking
yeah.
anti-magic cone coming out of that central eye.
Just makes me glad we haven't done anything to look for extra tornado bags or anything like that yet.
That the way that it's written up, it's on the lookout for these things. So you guys might find it again after you beat fucking a Chardalon.
Oh, Bruce, that is like a perfect fucking monster for one of the spells I put in Discord. It's probably not in Gilded. Well, maybe it is. It's called Disposal Pit. It's literally just an extra dimensional pit that randomly shoves shit into the void, into some random plane of the GM's choice. So you don't really get rid of it. It just kind of appears somewhere random and it can come back to bite you later.
Giggity.
Mm. No, I didn't have really good internet. That's last Saturday. I didn't get decent internet until maybe about 11 o'clock that night, and everything was running fine.
Damn it. I can't believe that Comcast still has services available.
I was not amused.
Travis, I hope you're doing well, bud.
Oh, it is legal in well,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
I was always at being someone from Idaho. I have always been told that if you kill a deer, don't bother picking it up because the cops are going to arrest you for it.
You have to let them know beforehand.
Yeah.
Okay, well maybe that's just stupid people then.
Well,
Hey, I will not deny there's the stereotypical of inbred does apply here.
I got nothing I can
I
share.
I
Deer must not
literally
be an
heard
infestation in your area.
yeah. Oh no, I literally heard a dude word for word. Man, my cousin's pretty.
Well, our
Now, I'm
president.
not referring to like me. I will admit I'm related to some of the hottest women in town, but I'm saying that as a guy who's not blind. No, I mean this guy said his cousin is pretty in the very sexual tone, like he actually thought she was hot.
Hey, why go across the city when you can cross the hallway?
Ugh.
I'm sorry. That's just funny.
Living the dream. Yeah.
So, Ty, it's been a minute. How are you doing, buddy?
I think he's distracted.
I'm doing fantastic.
I'm glad to hear
Yeah.
that.
You got to report it. You have to report it to the local deputy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I was
Because-
just talking to idiots. As someone who can't drive for medical reasons, I really wouldn't know. I've never even bothered really looking into the driving laws.
Well, Bruce, if I can't get you back to Illinois, what's the chances of me getting you to Missouri?
A lot better.
Outside, there's a town. There's a small part of St. Louis called the Hill. Are you aware of the Hill?
Yeah, my entire dad's side of the family has got the restaurant scene locked down there. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called Lombardo's.
No, but I have to look into it next time I'm down there.
You're not joking, right? They've
No,
got-
I'm not joking.
They've got 5 trattorias there.
That was the first time I was actually ever on the in that part of town. But there's a cigar shop there that holy shit was amazing.
There are Sicilians there that do kind of run the rest of the Italians on the hill, just like in the old country. But it's not like it is. But it's not like the movies.
Well, Jade's father, his parents lived down near St. Louis, and they were talking about the hill once. And the father told me the only way to get a house back there back in the day was to go to the church and talk to a priest. Now, if the priest basically greenlight you because A, you're Italian and Catholic or just Italian, the key factor in is you have to be Italian. They will sell you a house. If
Yeah.
if you are a dirty Mick like me, no.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, like it's kind of like the old country. In fact, it's the old country. It's not a bad place, but like there's just a lot of tradition there. If I were to go convert to anything, it would be kind of like do what James did, where he converted over to Orthodox Catholicism,
Mm.
because I do like their sense of history and their ability to tell history better. And I don't think there's been a whole lot of problems with Orthodox Catholicism and the kids.
No, there's problems, but there's problems with every church.
Why can't we have a church that doesn't touch the fucking kids?
Well, yeah.
No, that literally has to go all the way back to the idea of power. Men in power. I mean, people in power. Women are just as bad. People in power tend to lose interest in normal things and then have to go to the extreme. I mean, I have been delving into Warhammer 40K. The world is in a slow spiral of a gigantic Slaneshi cult. This entire
Okay.
world is obsessed with excess, especially of pleasure.
So 40K is based in the 80s. Gotcha.
Not exactly wrong. It kind of was, actually. That's when it was made.
I mean, I remember Dallas. Bruce, do
If-
you remember Dallas?
Yeah, I remember Dallas. I
Um,
I kind of I actually if 40K could go and just be ran like the old school Warhammer FRP with the D percentile dice, I'd be okay with that.
Dark Heresy Vaunt, I am first edition.
I haven't played Dark Heresy. Like the old FRP was this: you have bad guy in front of you, with either melee or missile. You roll your percentile. Did
Mhm.
you hit? Yes or no?
Yep.
Because you have to roll under your score.
Yep.
If you rolled under your score, then you reverse the number, and that gives you location. Location. Now you roll a d6, add your strength or strength of projectile weapon. That is the damage. And now you apply it to target said armor, then targets wounds and toughness. Their toughness first, then wounds. And if you blow through their toughness and you get into their meat, their wound section, there's a chance, not a big chance, but there's a chance that you can do grievous amounts of damage to them. Because if you roll a 6, that 6 explodes. And roll again on your weapon or ballistic skill. And if you would have hit, then roll that 6 again. And if you keep rolling 6s, just stop trying to see if you hit, because now obviously the gods have fated you to hit said creature, and you are free to hit said creature and turn them to dust. It's wonderful.
Mm.
I recommend exploding die damage for any game. Even put it in, of all things, Hackmaster, which is why I put it in my game.
I had never considered exploding dice before I got to your game, Bruce, but
Oh.
yeah, I wish I had known about it when I first started playing Palladium, because I when I first started playing Palladium, thanks to the GM I had who taught. Well, no, technically I started off as GM. I didn't even get to play when I first started playing Palladium. He taught me to. We basically went really fast from level 1 to level 15. I mean, really fucking fast. So it didn't take very long before we were having the. Yeah, it is supposed to be a slow system, but we would quickly start having the 2 to 3 hour like entire sessions of just a single battle. Not because in the case of Pathfinder, where you have the math, in the case of Palladium, you are literally have, oh, I have 150 health. Great. I only do a max of 8 damage.
No, that doesn't sound like fun.
16 if I get a critical. But that's only if I roll max damage to begin with.
You're gonna make Kai pass out if you keep talking like that. Stop it.
What? No.
But yeah, that like if I had known about exploding dice when I had been playing GMing Palladium, there would have been exploding dice in my game.
Palladium doesn't do well with. Okay, the Palladium engine doesn't do well. I wouldn't do well with exploding dice because the game is very
use your words.
static. You don't need to have.
I'll freely admit, what it's exactly what Max says. Palladium comes front loaded with every single character.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's very static. You don't need to have numbers that go bonkers.
No,
And-
unfortunately, they do though.
No, because if you built your character right, you're already bonkers. I mean, really, how much more bonkers do you need to get? Do you need to have an attack score of 40? Do you need a damage score of 1,000? I mean, that's
Yes.
no. Okay. No, because most things don't have that many hit points or MDC. Even
Okay. Let me
like-
rephrase that. No, I don't need that. Yes, I want that.
right, but does the game engine facilitate it well? Would it be able to handle that change? No, because the game engine was never meant for that. Meanwhile, the games that do have exploding dice were meant for that kind of crazy, because that crazy was built into the engine itself. When you change a major chunk like that, you need to actually accept that you need to have a reason. Like, the system has to be able to handle that change, because you're now changing a fundamental concept across the entire engine.
Okay, we by level 15, everybody was max level.
Right.
So on average, 80 to 150 health was not out of the question.
Right. And
given some of the battles that just based off of some of the creatures that you can fight in Palladium, you will have at level 15 an easily 4 to 6 hour fight.
Yeah. That's Palladium, though. I mean, that is.
Yeah, no, I like the battles in games.
Yeah.
I do not under any fucking circumstances want to spend 8 hours on one goddamn battle.
I understand.
I'm sorry, I died. That's a little bit of PTSD from the Star Oceans game, the one that's supposed to be the prequel.
Yeah.
Final boss, 8 hours.
Right.
And this isn't even like I'm doing 100 damage. I'm not doing 1,000 damage. I'm not doing 5,000 damage. I'm not even doing 10,000 damage. I'm doing hundreds of thousands of damage on average blows, not even the specialty attacks.
Right.
And I still took 8 hours to defeat that thing.
Okay, but that's a bloated game engine that's not doing anything right. The thing here is that Palladium has other ways of handling shit. Maybe it's because of the fact that I play more of the Rift side of things, and I played a lot of Macross and Robotech, where the shit that I'm seeing is like, so unless my players choose to attack the ancient American nuclear underwater submarine aircraft carrier defended by laser dolphins and death power armors, most fights don't last that long. If my party decides to attack a Zentradi battle cruiser with their handgun, with their mech's handguns, sure, the fight could take that long. But the players shouldn't be attacking. You know, the 6-man squadron of players shouldn't be attacking the Star Destroyer by themselves.
Oh no, I have an excellent example of what I'm referring to as the problem I have with that.
Mm-hmm.
Level 6, level 15 characters.
Yes.
1 Great Horn Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
We were there for 6 hours just killing that one dragon with me as GM, and I'm purposely not killing any character, mind you, because it's a terrible GM, but I was purposely not killing any characters that probably should have died, so their numbers didn't dwindle. They were doing basically the max damage they could, equivalent max damage they could do through the rolls, and it still took them 6 hours to take down a Great Horn Dragon.
And they weren't
at level 15.
Then they weren't prepared. They weren't prepared right. They didn't go into that fight with the right gear, with the right equipment, with the right prep. They went into a fight that should have been better, should have been easier. Not easier, but they should have been better equipped to go fight that dragon. I mean, if players can't kill shit, either they're not ready, or the dragon's just way too powerful, and they shouldn't be fighting it. I mean, that's a possibility that occasionally some things just beat the shit out of you. And so if my players decide to take on a god, well, if they go up there with sharpened sticks and some basic mortal bitch magic, the god's going to win. But if the players actually went into that fight prepared, like they did research and thought about it, because if you're max level, you don't ambush players with a Great Horn Dragon. It's like, hey everybody, do you want to fight Smaug? He just came out of the woods. What? But we weren't prepared. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a level 20 fight, so the great, the Elder Great Worm Super and Super Dragon showed up.
That sounds like bad life choices.
Yeah. Well, technically, I was also dealing with a player that liked to think he was Kai and had just enough level to squeak by with saying he was a Kai type
Then
player.
you kill them.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Here's
I'll admit that is my problem. That is my fault. I was too lenient as a GM more than once.
Here's a wonderful little tidbit of lore. I've died a lot. My characters have died a lot because I tend to go in there and bite off more than I can chew, and then I die. And then I sit down and then do the most important thing after the fact: institutional scab picking. You do the after action report. You sit down with your friends and you write down what the fuck did we do wrong. You crack open some beers, you think about what you did, and how can we do this better next time?
I showed up at work. That's why I did bad.
And after a while, after you have a pile of dead characters, and you sat down and you've analyzed your strategies and your tactics, and you figure out, and because here's the other thing: when you're doing your after action report, you're not just analyzing your faults, you're analyzing the tactics that the GM used against you. Because if you don't have a profile written down, or at least generated and worked up to profile the GM, because certain GMs have different tricks. They will do certain things, and you plan around the bullshit your GM is going to do to you. So if you know, what was that?
He will definitely pull bullshit on you.
Yes. So if you know your GM is going to pull magical bullshit, like he's a big fan of, oh no, magic is everything. I'm going to fucking throw a wizard into everybody's a wizard. Well, at that point, you start figuring out anti-magic tactics. If you have a GM who's like, no, everything is goddamn special forces. Everything's sneaky get and shit, and like, no. And at that point, you adapt your strategies towards how do I counter stealth. If you know you have a GM who masturbates to Conan the Barbarian and wants to have big dudes with swords swinging at each other with axes and shit, and because he wants to hear Riddle of Steel being played in the background while he's like, we're gonna have some big ass fucking barbarian fighting. Well, you know how you're gonna gear your characters up, because if all it's like, know your GM, because honestly, comes down to know your enemy, and the GM is the enemy. He's your friend. You're having a good game, but know your fucking enemy. Know the person who's going to be throwing the fights at you. If your player,
that falls under the category. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
I was saying that falls under the category of what got Bruce to laugh earlier. I didn't realize it. I thought I only had 8. I actually have 20 holy waters on my possession at any given time. Just like Janet, just like pretty much for the rest of our characters. Why? Because we've seen so many fucking demons that we just like carry an arsenal of holy water with us at all times.
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't even realize it. In fact, Janet carries a gallon of holy water with her.
Right. And that's a cool idea. It's like, why not?
What is holy water?
It's just God bless tap water.
Yeah.
Yep.
You open a bucket, I bless the bullshit, and move on. And yes, the GM is your frenemy. But the thing here is that I've had a lot of GMs who've not been they're my friends, but the moment they sit behind that screen, they stop being your friend. They're assholes. I wish I could say I've had good GMs, and I've had good GMs, but I've had a lot of bad ones. A lot of them. So a lot of
I was going to say 3 of my favorite DMs, and 3 of my favorite DMs. One of them is sitting in this panel right now. Although, Kai, if we can get back to your campaign where we assassinate the fake president, that you become number 4.
that would be fun to come back to.
Because I had a lot of fun being my musketeer. Oh, speaking of that, Speaking, I told Shadow he's been smoke free for since January. I told him if he can keep it up to September 23rd, I was going to shave my beard into a Three Musketeer style. And I've been looking at some pictures of Portos on the internet. And honestly, I don't need to shave with the one I'm thinking about picking, which is probably the one I'm going to pick.
Disney's.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, that's probably one of my favorite versions of that character. The Jeremy Iron, the Man in the Iron Mask, was also a fun one.
Yeah, but that's Aramis. Jeremy Irons is playing Aramis in that.
Yeah, not Jeremy Irons' character, but there was the other guy who played that version.
That one's a very good one too.
Yeah, he's like, it doesn't work anymore, and he goes to hang himself in the
yes.
Barn. I thought this might happen.
I cut the rafter. Oh shit.
The zest of life was just no longer with him, which happens to all guys at a certain age. Right, Bruce?
Correct, sir.
So, I got a new toy.
What'd you get?
Did you wash it off first?
You crank this over this way. Yeah. Push the magic button, and you get fire. That lights the cigar.
That is nice.
I'm not saying I needed it, but I like it.
Nerdy, if you want to jump in, I'll take one of my cameras down. I got no problem with that.
I see how it is. I showed up at Six Nations like, fuck this guy, I'm out.
I don't know what happened for Six Nations. I want to say it's probably internet, but he was also a little tired, and he worked out today, and he's like, I could only work out like for 5 minutes, man. Like you got to take it slow. You can't take it all at once, and you definitely can't take your situation and be like, man, I'll never get back in shape, dude. Fucking of all people, Ray Benavides, who I fucking stand on with chapter and verse, it took that guy a month and a half, 2 months for him to get to where he could walk across a room.
Right.
He was saying he was going to live in a wheelchair.
I'll be losing a whole bunch of weight once I get the space for a treadmill, because that'll be one of the first things I'll be investing in is a treadmill.
Oh.
But in my case, that's not just for losing weight. I actually think best on my feet, like when I want to write books or stuff like that. I actually think best walking.
I think best when I have somebody on top of me, but that's a whole different subject.
Oh, really? That's so distractive. I wouldn't be able to enjoy it if I was like in that thinking while doing that. Like the woman would be like, "Why are you going limp?" Oh, I was just thinking of different arithmetics.
Well,
I usually don't think of anything but base economics whenever.
Yeah, exactly.
Whenever I'm involved with coitus, that's just like, oh, we're in coitus now. Awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me focus on coitus, because if
I don't know if this makes any sense. My brain works like a Formula One race car because of ADD. It's going in 100 miles in different fucking directions, right? That's one of the few times where my I go from a Formula 51 to a Flintstone car, and I can think clearly on one thing. I never said what I was thinking about.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, Kai, have you seen any interesting movies of late?
I'll be brutally honest. There hasn't been a goddamn thing in the theaters I've wanted to watch.
Oh,
But I've watched. But if you can ask me what I've been watching away from the big screen, I actually enjoyed a musical that was based on the Odyssey. That was fantastic.
That could be good.
Oh no, it is a fantastic piece. A guy wrote for himself and had to animate, and he wrote it. He sang it. He found people to fill the other roles, and then people who were fans went through and animated through animatics every song of the epic, and the whole thing runs about 2.5 hours long. It's worth listening to it for the entire bit, and it is everything from the fall of Troy to the arrival back at Ithaca. And it's a 2.5 hour musical, and it's a fantastic musical.
Cool.
And then I also watched and enjoyed for all. It sounds so stupid, but if you listen to if you want to watch a good hour-and-a-half movie that's a really good concise story, K-pop Demon Hunter is actually fantastic.
I'll keep that in mind.
It is the animation is hilarious. It's weird. It's a little off-putting, but the story and the way it's done and the music is really top-notch, and it's just a really good story. Then again, I got to go watch it with some people who were pretty laid back and cool, and were like, "Hey, do you like musicals?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I like musicals a lot." I mean, it's that part of the reason why I kind of want to play bards, but everybody else in the universe is like when we start a new campaign, everyone's like, "I want to play the bard," and I'm like, "God damn it! Okay, you can play the bard." And then everyone's idea is, "I'm going to play a bard." Blah, 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 I'm a fucking whore. Blah, 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 I'm a bard. And it's like, God damn it.
So
Is
they
that the
play
best?
Glamour Rock.
Was that?
Well, next time, say I want to play the
I
bard.
do, but then somebody else pops in and goes, "I want to play the bard," and I'm like, "All right, play the fucking bard." And guess what it is? Blah, 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 I'm playing my fucking lute. I'm a man whore. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what else do you do?
Okay,
Whore.
try saying no. I'm playing the bard.
Nah. I like everybody else. Like I'm dead set. I'm gonna play the bard, and I'm like, well, fuck. I guess I'll play the cleric because that's all we fucking have. Because or it's like, what are you gonna play? Well, let's see. Everybody else is already dead set and already made their characters by the time I've gotten in the room. So what don't we have? We need a rogue and we need a cleric. Collection. We need a cleric. We don't really need a rogue. Okay, fine. I'll play the fucking cleric.
I never hear people say we don't need a rogue, man. Hold on, let me go grab Grimtooth. So I'm going to go fucking fix the world real quick.
I know. But the thing here is that it's like, okay, cool. We have a party that's all, hey, the bard, and the bard is going to be the most underwhelming character in the entire group, and I'm just like, cool. I'm so up for this. And at that point,
never come at me with, "Oh, we're going to have 3 bards in the party." Oh fuck! I guess you guys are a traveling band now.
Look at him and say, I want to play a bard because I want to play an interesting character. You want to play a bard because you can't get laid in real life.
I know, but here's the thing. I've tried that. And then people are like, "Oh, we really don't need it." And then because it's a group decision, and then it's just like, fine. Obviously, we're going to go play a standard operation game, and I'm going to do everything in my book to, I be the most asshole. I don't want to say asshole-ish character, but I'm going to play an interesting character who's just going to be, look, I'm going to play a bard without being the bard. Well, what do you mean? By being the charismatic, more interesting person. But I was play a different class because we don't want to stack up classes. And I know
That was my next suggestion. Play a cleric of the god of music.
And at that point, it's
your divine focus will be your instrument, whatever instrument it is. Lute, sing.
That's being a bard with extra steps.
I've done this and it's fun. But okay.
But if
I know this, but listen, I played a lot of games, and
if he wants to play a bard, add an extra step in there. Who cares?
I know, but some groups. Remember, I had a long history of very bad groups. That's where most of my stories come from, and why I'm the asshole I am is because I don't have fun groups. I have asshole groups. And this comes from a long history, and this is why I GM the way I do, which is a much more, because I don't want to be the dick, or I don't want to have I don't want to be the same shit GM that other GMs have done to me. So therefore, when I run a better game because I've had the bad shit happen. I don't like. It's easy to
Okay.
say in a white room where it's all hypothetical. Sure, just say, just do. But then that comes the actual in-person social dynamic, and when the other person is super excited because they're like, "Oh, I got an idea! I want to play a bard," and I'm like, "Okay, well, do I play another bard and step on their toes, or be a better bard than them?" Because honestly, yeah, I could play a better bard, or I can't. But maybe they've got a better idea and they're going to play it. They're going to
I
have
have a
fun.
solution. I have a solution. I have a solution. Bruce, we do
Mhm.
not have a bard in the party.
This would require me to have any amount of free time on a
Well,
Saturday.
I was trying to get rid of Robin, and you want to play a bard. It seems to work in my head.
Now, that would require me to get off work before 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then come home, want to relax, do something. And by the time I'm ready to game, it's going to be 6 o'clock in the evening, and the game is wrapping up at 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Not Bruce's game. Jesus.
I actually been wrapping up a little bit early because there's stuff going on in the game world that I want to make sure that I set time for. And right now, the party has just parlayed with a hostile group of elves that practice terrorism to get the humans' attention in the valley. And they got their wish. They got some humans to come and talk to them.
Is this
And
the low?
low powered.
Yeah, I was talking about the high party one.
If he ever wants to come in to that group, all he's got to do is ask me any day.
Yeah, we need a bard in that group.
But the problem I have here is that you will have already been playing for several hours before I'm even off work and ready to,
that campaign. Both campaigns are an established world.
Right.
Both campaigns have now ran over a year and a half. The one that you're talking about, the high level game, that's been in service since 2022, I think.
Yeah, sounds about right.
22. Back there's, I one of these days I'm going to build a short, and I'm actually going to download the video. I'm going to talk about just this is what happens when players overstep their boundaries, and it's going to be when Brooke, as paladin, challenged the ancient blue dragon, and half the party turned into ashes because they found what happens when they touch a lot of lightning.
I started watching Bruce just 1 week after that happened. Just 1 week.
Well, the moral of this story is if you're in a game with Brooke and there's a blue dragon, my character is going to look at the rest of the party and say, he's Billy Badass. Let's all go home. He's got this, right? Yeah, Biff. You left me. You have a track record.
Mm-hmm. It's not that I want to. I work a shitty job, and it's not getting any better anytime soon due to reasons. So, if I ever can find a job that is a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, yeah, sure, would love to.
If you ever got a job that was a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, you wouldn't know what to do with yourself.
Well, technically, I almost have a job that's 9 to 5 if we would ever have staffing, but I have to work Saturdays. So
that sounds like a their problem, not a you problem.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but I need a couple more years of experience before I can leave this job, and then I can go somewhere else.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Oh, Connell, you're gonna love this. Janet committed us to fighting a green dragon.
Check, please.
I have Dimensional Door on a scroll, and I'm going to have it on my on my person when we go to the dragon, because I'm expecting this to end bad.
Well, you could always try to do my trick when it involves dragons.
That's why I have dimensional
this
door
trick,
on me. Like I'm
this is
a
my
dimensional door.
original trick. This was before I met Bruce. You play a rogue, high level bullshit rogue, not sneaky. Well, he is sneaky, but really high charisma, and he doesn't even know he's lying. Type rogue. Oh, I'm a big red dragon. Oh, Mr. Dragon, you're the person I am looking for. Why? I have this wand right here that will lead you to a horde that's greater than yours. Roll your dice. That's a 19 plus that. That's like a 30 something. He rolls. Nat 1. Okay. And he flies off.
That's a good way to make enemies.
Well, you're not playing D&D, Pathfinder, any RPG to make friends now, are you? It's called Loot and Run. Oh, Did you not have a lot of friends growing up?
I already have a contract with dwarves. I have a good standing with the cloud giants. I have a good standing with mushroom.
So many bad jokes. So many bad jokes. Speaking of bubbles over there, they're bringing Trailer Park Boys back. Back to gaming. I just got done watching the second season of Neil Gaiman's Sandman. Love the graphic novels. Love the audio, what they did. And I'm like, I want to play Sandman. Sandman's overpowered. How can I get a DM to greenlight this one? Oh, wait. You're not Sandman. You're a Sand of Sandman. You don't have all his powers. You have some of his powers from the get-go. And instead of every 5 levels, instead of getting a feat, you get a power bump. Or a 4th level. And you eventually get to be.
I could be wrong, but you are aware Sandman could be damaged by magic, right? And energy weapons?
No, Sandman is endless. The only thing that can kill Sandman is death. Death.
Okay, which Sandman are you talking about?
The internal Sandman, Morpheus.
I'm talking about Spider-Man.
No, not that Sandman.
Yeah.
Sandman I'm talking about is Lord of the Dream Realm.
Oh, you're talking the Sandman. The supernatural one. Okay. I see. When you said Sandman, my first thought, especially where I've been watching a lot of bear stuff, is straight to superheroes.
He is technically part of the DC universe.
Like one of the only superheroes I actually had any amount of comics of was Spider-Man, and there was a Sandman.
We'll go for it.
Crafting. I think you literally just hit the same problem that I had when with the failed adventuring with with Bear Game, which was simply, I want Vertigo Comics, which is Sandman and Hellraiser and all the really esoteric weird gaming, weird stories, especially when your rule book says you can have this power that does really cool stuff and it's only 1 paragraph long and gives you no fucking idea what any of it fucking does, compared to everybody else's fucking weird ass shit. But when you choose the one weird thing and it has no fucking guidelines, but that's what I want. I want Doc Strange, and I want, I want Sandman, all this shit over this direction. And then somebody goes, "You mean Sandman from Spider-Man, right?" And you're like, "Not even in the same time zone or dimension of being functional." So everyone's having a conversation over here, and then you have the one guy who's the cape and tight guy over here going, "Well, it could be beaten up by magic and swords and shit," and we're like, "Oh, I mean, kind of yeah, but not really. Sure, I mean he has a rap battle in hell versus a demon. I mean, I guess that's kind of kind of a magical fight. And then you're like, what are you talking about? We're talking about Sandman, right? I mean, the guy who's lets a madman, murder, rape, fuck an entire diner for for a day. And
well, he didn't actually let him. He just got out of being in a glass crystal ball.
Oh, I know, but I mean, it's like now. But the thing is, that's the kind of story we're talking. It's like, so which one are we going to talk about? I swung it on a rope and I punched a dude. Meanwhile, you have an issue of crazy guy escapes from a sane asylum, has a magic gem, and has a murder, fuck, death fight. I session in a diner. Which one of us is having a normal event? Which one of us is playing the weird game?
If we're gonna go straight for weird, there's only straight weird. There's only one character I could think of, and that is I have read the entire comic series of Johnny the Homicidal Maniac.
That is its own weird ass. I too have read Johnny the Homicidal Maniac because that's a very very dark, weird, twisted. That doesn't fit into any other universe.
Yes,
that is its own. That is a Call of Cthulhu campaign in a book form. That's how.
Oh yeah.
If we're gonna play a Call of Cthulhu game and everybody wants to play edgelords, that fits. If you don't want to play a bunch of book nerds, but you want to play an edgelord, Johnny the Homicidal Maniac exists.
Ooh.
And that was an iconic thing for every edgelord of the early 2000s. If you were,
yeah.
But the thing is that isn't. But that is pure 90s edgelord, like late 90s, early 2000 edgelordness, right there. Yeah. I mean, you pull that out when you want to be like, I can be as scary as all the other cool kids, and you're like, yeah, sure can be, boss.
Bruce is now bored with this conversation because we're talking about comic books.
You're good.
Honestly,
I'll freely admit that comic. Oh, sorry.
Comic book characters I'd be interested in trying to make. I have a handful, but my top three would be the Crow. The wonderful thing about the Crow was the graphic novel in the first movie and the second movie. Outside of that, it's all crap. Now, the Crow can be anybody. It doesn't have to be a single person. It just has to have the one person has to have a really, really. I mean, there's a bad day, then there's that bad day, and he needs to have that bad day. And he is a warlock, and that's how you get the Crow. Sandman, it's just what?
Yeah, as GM, I'd say right there, you lost your warlock powers.
Why?
You are dead.
No.
You are dead.
Well, define dead.
No. The Crow is dead. That's part of his story.
Dead.
No. The Crow is dead. The Crow is killed, and then he is resurrected as an undead being, basically a lich with living flesh.
Yeah.
Well, not living flesh, but
with
non-rotting flesh. He is not alive anymore. That is part of the story.
He's not a lich. He's a reverend. The R word. And there's nothing wrong with playing a dead character. If the storyline works for it and you can make it work.
I didn't say he couldn't play the dead character. I just said he's not a wizard anymore.
He was never a wizard anyways.
He's got too many. You said he was a wizard that turned into
No. He is a warlock. We have 5.
Well, same difference. It doesn't matter. He's no longer alive.
There's a difference. A warlock is a person that makes a normal person who makes a pact with a greater being who gets his powers. A wizard.
Then he couldn't become he literally couldn't become a crow because his soul would be drugged back to the being he made the deal with.
But we're not looking for a 1-to-1. The thing here is that This is not a 1-for-1 conversion. This is my inspiration on what could be an interesting character. At some point, so what you're saying here is that I became a warlock. So you're not human. So when you're making your character, you pick a race. It's like, well, there are revenant backgrounds. There are interesting things that said you came back to life from the dead. There are ways to get around this to get you the concept.
Right.
So you can't be a warlock because in the comic book, we're not trying to make a 1-for-1 stand-in of the comic book. This is simply guy dies, but is so angry and so revenge-filled that someone makes a deal with him that gives him the power to be so now you're a warlock who came back from the dead. Are you actually dead? Who knows? Work it out with your GM. Where did your power come from to be a warlock? Well, somebody on the outside. Congratulations, you're a cleric with extra steps.
Yeah.
You got your cool powers because of that.
Yeah.
I know that. Well, it's not the crow. No, you just took the idea of the crow and made it your own and made it an interesting idea. It's a cool concept.
Well, when you explain it that way, it's like, okay, I can get behind that. But when Connell just says wizard that turned into the crow or warlock that turned into the crow, it's like, you died. Your soul would be taken back to your fucking master because that's literally the rules. But if it's like a deal after death, okay,
the thing is that
then your explanation makes far more sense.
No person, when you watch the movies, no person has the crow powers before they die. And what says? No. And now, if we were playing Mage the Ascension, where having your soul is important because that is your avatar that allows you to cast magic, I would say yes. When you die, your avatar flees your body. This is why you can't have wizards who are vampires or wizards who are werewolves, because the moment that the infection happens to your soul, the avatar flees and runs away. But we have D&D where dying is what you do every Tuesday. Oh, hey there, how you doing? Oh, I'm pretty good. Good. How's the kids? Pretty damn good. They're okay. Cool. I'll see you next Tuesday. Or because that's how often you die in D&D. I mean, nowhere in the rules does wizard or cleric or warlock state, well, the moment you die, you instantly lose all your ability to be a wizard. What? And so therefore the idea that maybe you were a wizard beforehand and, well, you made a bargain with the powers of the other side, and so you traded your wizard powers off for warlock powers. It's like I'm going to take away all this and reformat you and turn you into something different. I mean, this is just a simple way of doing it. But I guess this is also a problem when you have players who try to make an exact copy of a character, or a GM who doesn't have enough creativity to follow the lines to make something interesting. So therefore, when you have a player who comes in and goes, I want to play Naruto. No, you can't play Naruto, but you can play a ninja who has some magical monk bullshit powers.
Yeah.
I want to play Ichigo from Bleach. No, you can't do that, but you can play a guy who has death touch on his sword, so you can stab ghosts. Oh, okay, I can work with that.
I agree
Connell?
with you. Yes.
In my defense, I'm also a Palladium player, which unless you are a lich or very, very special circumstances, as the undead, you actually lose your magic. Period.
Well, the thing, did you ever? Okay, let's. Kai, first of all, Kai is right. It cannot be 1-to-1. I don't care how much.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying in my defense.
Hold on. Let me get this out. You cannot be Doctor Strange. Yes, you cast magic, but at the end of the day, you're not Doctor Strange. I don't care. Well, I want to be John Constantine. Well, you're a sorcerer that has a punk issue, okay, and plays on both sides of the field. Congratulations, but you're not John Constantine.
Right.
The crow, the crow in certain systems, I can make it probably work in Pathfinder. I'm sure as hell can make it work in 5th edition, and here's how. Let me get this out.
Mm-hmm.
You start off the campaign at first level, you die. A goblin or whatever, a goblin, whatever, somebody kills your character outright out of the get go. You come back, you make a deal. You're a warlock. But you don't get, then you go into first level warlock. Then you, four levels later, you go into monk. Guess what? You don't have, I mean, you do have some spells, but you just don't use them. That's not your strong suit. You go into monk. So you're a martial character. But, okay, if you're the crow, how do you get hurt? Well, I can get hurt if Bruce, the DM over here, starts fucking with my brain, making me believe something different than what happened, right? Or the crow itself, the crow, not the person, the crow gets hurt and I lose my powers for a while. And the only powers is I got a DR. I got a DR over something. It's nothing major. And you play a high enough monk, especially in Pathfinder in early D&D, you get unstruckable body. You start to have a DR later on in the leveling. It's not overthinking. It is 2 extra steps to make your character a tad more interesting than, ooh, I want to be a knight or a Merlin or something. It's something different, a little bit more gothic.
Then the crow is a very bad example for me personally, because when you say crow, I'm not just thinking, oh, he's hard to kill or next to impossible to kill. I'm literally thinking you have the healing ability, you have the crow's mental abilities, you have the crow's ability to find people, you have the crow's ability to turn into a crow and fly. When you
Why
say
can't
crow,
I mean
I think everything about the crow, not just his most
you have
basic
to boil
abilities.
it any character outside of, let's say you're trying to do a one-on-one, any character that you build in any system, you need to boil it down to the most simplest of ingredients
Oh,
and
well,
start there.
here's one thing. I will immediately go for, oh, you want this power that doesn't exist in the book? Okay, here's how we'll make it work. So I go straight past the simplest explanation and go straight for, oh, you need a power that doesn't exist in the book? Okay, let's see how that works.
Then throw away the book.
Yeah, the book doesn't work at that.
Or just write your own rule set.
I'm writing my own rule set.
And you can use a forum like Gilded or Discord and just start posting here's a little patch, here's a little way we figured this out. Wham. Works out really good.
See, here's the thing. I did not start off as rule lawyer GM. You got to stick by the rules. I started off like I was actually trained as a GM for custom gameplay. Like I'm not even joking or exaggerating when I say I was trained for custom gameplay for the players.
Then whoever did that deserves a huge kick in the nuts multiple fucking time.
Oh, I won't deny that at all.
If you're the DM, good, bad, or otherwise, it is your power. In most of the books I've read as a DM, rule number 0, before even 1, is you are God, universe, and everything in between. If you don't like the way something is written in a book, change it. Make it your own. Now, if you're running a module, yeah, you should follow the spirit of the module, not necessarily the letter of the module, but to make a game solid, to make a game great, you have to add in shit that's not there half the time, because the people who wrote it are not necessarily the people that are going to be running it. There's such a fucking disconnect between players, DMs, and these cock monkeys that write modules for $5.99 an hour.
Jesus, that's so sad.
Am I wrong?
Yeah.
No, you're right.
If I'm in Bruce's campaign and my character dies and I said, fuck it, I'm going to be Batman. But I'm not, no, I'm going to be, I'm playing Archer right now. I'm going to be Batman. I'm not going to tell everybody I'm going to play Batman. I'm going to break down, okay, how do you play Batman? Well, I need money. Well, that's not going to happen. And, I need to start taking monk levels and a few rogue levels. Then you're Batman. It is year 1, Batman simplicity. Yes.
I ran into a similar I hate to say this, but I ran into a problem like this a few weeks ago when I pissed off a certain person in Gilded. The problem here is that Connell, you and I can both communicate with the terms of just we can use memes as communication. Where all I gotta say, like all you gotta do is tell me Batman, and I can start to work out what Batman means because there's a fundamental idea of Batman. If the thing here is that because I might throw out a character, a name, or a concept, or this, and that's an idea first. We ran into so the situation that we're running into right now with the whole so if I was to say, if you were to tell me Batman, and I would understand, okay, so trained martial artist who's a gear monkey. Who's smart investigator, gear monkey, he's got gadgets, and he knows how to punch, and he's sneaky. There's the fundamentals on what Batman is. He's not you don't have to be Bruce Wayne, you don't have to be rich. But if you cover the four fundamentals, this is why I have the joke with certain people, not here, but elsewhere, where the idea of the paladin who swoops in because he's the paladin who took stealth and is wearing leather armor. And who swings in, and then because he's got armored gauntlets for his fists, they're armed, so therefore he can punch people and deliver justice smites with his punches. He swoops in out of darkness. He ambushes bad guys. He's a paladin. He's a full-on paladin, but he's bringing law and order and justice because he's the Dark Knight. That was one player's way of how they managed to play Batman. But I've also seen another Batman player he said Batman, and he played a monk. Again, swings out of the darkness, ambushes people, stuns and beats people into unconsciousness, drags them and leaves them, ties them up, leaves them for the cops. He got the idea of what Batman was. But I've also seen other people their ideas of Batman was rogue who has a million goddamn tricks, where he was playing not the more modern Batman, but he was playing more the Adam West Batman because he took alchemy, and so he had his bat repellents and his bat smoke bombs and his bat all his themed dumb stuff. But he didn't call it bat. But the thing is, he had sleep bombs, he had knockout gas, he had the repellents, he had the ways of making people lose track of him. He was playing Batman. So if a player walks in and says, I want to play Batman, I want to go, okay, cool. You have a concept. You want to play the lone wolf, dark avenger. You're trying to actually do but the thing is that you've also told me you're going to play a dual role identity where you don't want people to know you're Batman. The paladin player who swooped in as paladin Batman, he had a suit of true full plate with shield and all this other stuff. And when he had to go out in daylight and be the paladin, he had his sword, he had his mount, he had his armor. But the moment that night came, he would go out there and go. So throughout the day, he would go out there and figure out what the problem was, and then realize that he couldn't fight it. If he ran in there as a big, giant, shining paladin armor, he wouldn't be able to get shit done. So he decided to go, no, law and justice has to be done, and I'm going to do it. And because he realized that I run a more corrupt universe where lawful evil dominates, and the justice system won't fucking do shit because lawful evil runs things. And so he's playing the paladin who fixes things by being a little he's bringing law and justice and order, and he's making the world a better place. That was a better way. Now, I've had other players who come in and give me a concept. They say a name, and then I know where to start and where to work. I don't because I understand what memes are. I understand that how they work and how they're supposed to function.
Ow.
But I pissed off somebody because I was making 100 different references. Now, I'm used to dealing with people who have media literacy. So if I was to talk to somebody and I go, oh yeah, they're totally 100% like Flynn from Tron, I shouldn't have to go there and explain down to a detail who Flynn is. If you know Tron, and with certain people, I know they know who they've watched Tron, and they watched Tron Legacy, and they've watched Tron Rebellion, so they knew who this is. So if I walked up to somebody and go, hey, I want to play Conan, and I'm not telling you I want to play Conan the Barbarian as Arnold Schwarzenegger or Conan the Barbarian from the novels. I've told you where I'm starting. And now we can work on how to make that a better character. I don't want to play Darth Vader. I don't want to play all these, the named characters, but I'm going to open the conversation with
That's the
this
style
is what I
of character.
want. And now we've bypassed 400 conversations because we now have a starting point to work with. When Connell says he wants the Crow, I don't there's not a single person I know who would go straight to, well, it's obviously the Crow 1 movie where he has all the powers. Like, there's no way in I know that if I was case in point, I'm talking with some friends with a game that I'm playing off, not online here, but with some other people. We were talking about concepts, and one of the concepts I hit was, I want to play Gilgamesh, and at that point I've stated I want to play a half god. But the thing here is that is like, you can refluff Asimir from 5th edition or from earlier editions and go half god. Well, what do? I want to go on an epic adventure where I do ridiculously over the top things because the game engine almost every game engine promotes over the top and stupid things. We're going to do stupid things. We might as well aim for it. So when you state, but the thing is, I'm not stating that I want to have a best friend named Enkidu. I'm not stating that I have a sword that is amazing. I'm not stating that I want to have the ability to bind gods. I'm stating that I'm going to go out there and do something amazing. Why? Because it's Gilgamesh. Why would you want to do anything less than Gilgamesh? Or if I had a player who sat down and goes, Odysseus. And I'm like, what point in Odysseus' story? And I'm like, start. I want to start at Odysseus. Okay, so you're literally somebody whose mentor is a god, and you're a wise, wily, creative person. And you told me that you're going to play a character who is trickery and thinking outside the box. Done. Okay, now we can work. I now know your concept. I've had that's far better than somebody who sits down at my table and goes, I'm playing a warlock. And I'm like, do you have and they can give me their own cool custom things, but it helps to start with going, this is the meme, this is the concept, this is the origin, this is where I'm evolving. I'm not, if somebody sits down and goes, I want to play Odysseus, I'm not going to say, oh, so you're the king of Ithaca. No, you're a wise war chief who came from some background where you're educated and you have creativity. I'm not going to sit there and go, well, obviously this now means we're playing a Greek campaign in the middle of the Age of Heroes. No. But if somebody goes, I want to play like a Hercules-inspired character, fantastic. We're going to we go from there. See, that's the thing. And if somebody sits down and goes, I want to play but the thing is, I don't need to have people who just have read the classics. I can have someone to sit down at my table and go, I want to play oh shoot, it's late, I'm tired. What's the character who rides a motorcycle? He's on fire.
Ghost Rider.
I want to play Ghost Rider. Okay, cool. We now have a concept. We can work around it, and we can build towards it. You're not going to be a guy in a leather jacket riding up with a burning skull riding a burning motorcycle. Sorry, you're not that. But we can work with the concept, and we now know what you were aiming for.
And I completely agree. Anymore in any campaign I'm in, Bruce's campaign, Chance, it's an amalgamation of Hawkeye, Green Arrow, and me just being a fucking goofball. I didn't say, hey, Bruce, I'm playing Green Arrow or Hawkeye. Hey, Bruce, I'm playing an Archer. Kai wants to run a campaign. Hey, Colin, want to play? Sure. It's going to be like this. I'm going to play Zorro, but I'm not going to tell you I'm going to play Zorro because I don't want to deal with the rest of the fucking table. But, you know.
Tell me Zorro, I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, it's my thing is I've been at this for a while. Granted, some of you guys have played a whole lot longer than I have. I got started in my 20s. I wasn't playing this stuff when I was a teenager. I was having a date. I had a dating life. Ooh, there's this new computer game called World of Warcraft. Sorry, I'd rather go have sex. You know, I want to smash. So I understand where I might have been slightly off my description with Crafty Gamer, because I normally don't say these thoughts too much out loud. I have a random thought and I'll just run with it. If the character works, great. If it doesn't, well, let me go grab some D6 and build something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I was also like, this is outside of gaming, but I was also raised, not raised. That's a very bad word. My parents were very,
Did they rear
very.
you?
What's the word when they are like vague? Oh yeah, my parents were very vague. I watched Star Trek and was like, I'm going to be a Vulcan.
So you want to play an elf?
No, I'm going to play a space elf, which means very logical. So if you say I want to play, well, like your example, I want to play the Crow. My first thought, okay, you want to be able to have the ability to turn into a crow and fly. You want to be able to read people's mind, like at the very least their emotions. You want to? Yes, I've seen the emotion. Yes, he actually turned into a crow and flies. Well, more like he possesses his. It's more like he possesses his crow and travels across the city inside his crow.
He
but
sees
still.
what the crow sees. You need.
No. He shows you see him seeing through the eyes of the crow, and then because of the previous scene, they show him on the other side of the city until he sees through the eyes of the crow who he's looking for, and then bam, he's right there.
I just saw the movie. Hold on here, Hall.
Like he's teleported through the crow.
I just saw the movie. I just watched the movie. He sees through the crow's eyes. Then he goes running across the rooftops. He doesn't teleport there. He actually has to physically move.
Yeah,
I just watched the movie.
That's for one scene, and that's not even the first kill he
does
makes.
not. His supernatural ability with the crow is like a ranger or a druid, where he could see whatever their spirit, their animal companion. All the physical crow is a animal companion that is his link to the guy he made the deal with. That's it.
Well, that's not how I ever read the movie, and that's not how I'm going to.
Well, we're talking about two different movies.
So if you said the crow to me, like, okay, you want to be able to teleport through your crow, got it. You want to be able to basically read people's emotions to the point you can almost manipulate them, got it. You want to have a ridiculous healing ability to the point you're basically a lich, got it.
Okay, I mean, okay.
You want to have literally superhuman strength.
That sounds more like a.
You got to be very specific with me. You can't just be.
Oh, well, I would never tell you. I just built a fucking character.
Oh well, then I wouldn't say shit.
That's really how he gets around it.
You guys have like a different way of going at playing the same character ish, but you're going about it two different pathways. You're arriving at the same spot. So as a GM, I wouldn't really have a problem with either of your versions of the crow. I really wouldn't. The way that I read the comic back in 99 was when I read the comic. It took me a while. I believe he was going across the rooftops because he he talks about the rooftop.
See,
In the movie,
I remember that scene, but it plays off as both.
I didn't catch
really.
it that way. Then again, I read the graphic novel before I saw the movie, and he physically had to get from point A
Sorry,
to
Nettie.
point B. There was no jumping. Well, there was a little bit of
The
jumping.
movie makes it like, I think there's one scene where he's going across the rooftops in the movie, like one of the first scenes, and then after that, you just see the crow showing through its distorted vision, and here he comes, just like off scene onto scene, and the crow.
And not even like it was like time progressed. It's more like the crow seen the target, and he was
I
there.
don't even know. Like,
hold on. I'm going to interject here. In the movie, and I just watched. Seriously, I just watched The Crow like Thursday, Friday.
We're gonna find out the goddamn 1994 Crow. That's awesome.
So I only know through the movie. I haven't read any comic books or graphic novels or whatever else is out there. I just seen the movie. But in the movie, it was kind of Beastmaster-esque, as in he could see through the crow's eyes.
Yep.
And he didn't transform into a crow. He couldn't teleport through the crow, but he could see what the crow could see, and then he traveled along the rooftops to get there.
Yeah, no, they do show that scene, yes, but they show more than one scene where the crow, like a couple of scenes where the crow sees somebody and he's there instantly.
And,
not like he excellent example is that actually opening scene. The crow follows the fucking knife dude, and yet he shows up as the crow sees the knife dude at the fucking barrel.
I think
not like any time had progressed.
No.
Like he just seen him and then he was there. If anything, if that be the case, the crow is prophetic where you could see the future and knew where the guy was going to be.
The crow was following the guy as the crow was following the guy as the bird.
They don't show that very well. Then
They don't.
That was an awesome movie. That was a good movie that could have been awesome had they done better. Which I don't know how to put that. I hope that makes sense. I don't know how, but they didn't portray that part right.
Okay, let's all keep in mind that during the middle of filming, Funboy puts a fucking prop gun in Brandon's fucking stomach and pulls the trigger. Okay? And that's what fucking killed Brandon Lee. That sucks. However, I believe on the schedule before the death of Brandon Lee, they were going to film some extra stuff because they had extra time. They were moving along good on the clipping of being scenes recorded and doing all the stuff. Alex Proyas was happy with it. There was just a few parts here and there, but the majority of things, Brandon Lee was shooting right. The fight choreography was looking good. The dailies were looking great, and all of a sudden, Funboy kills Brandon Lee, and that sucks. What's really weird is that just about 4 years ago, the guy that played Funboy died of stomach cancer.
Yeah. I'm just thinking with the first movie, they actually do a better version of the guy seeing through the crow and traveling around in City of Angels. But we're just going to stick with the first one. They realized.
Let's not talk about that one.
City of Angels. Wait, there was a movie called City of Angels. I've never heard of that. I don't think it ever existed.
No. Hold on. City of Angels is a great movie. Here's why. It follows the original story's a point of story. The third, the fourth, the fifth, and the one they just came out with are pure, utterly trash.
Are you sure you're not just falling under the what is it called, the Mandela effect?
No. I enjoyed. See, that's why my very first statement was anybody could be the crow. Anybody. There was boy crows and there were girl crows. It doesn't
that's
matter.
What I knew.
They just had to have a really bad night. And I guess
exactly.
what I'm getting at with all this is another makes me think of an argument I have with Jade. I can put any character I'm in a campaign with and match him up with a comic book hero. Any campaign I'm in. Bruce is high level.
That's not hard.
And so I don't mind playing comic book expired heroes because they really are 1-to-1. I mean,
my wizard is afraid of snakes. He has afraid of snakes, but has a full phobia for worms. He is a generous person with being a very slightly greedy streak. He's nice to his friends. He's nice to his enemies. He tries to negotiate, but he will kill you on the spot if he needs to. Now, if you look hard enough, you will find a superhero that is that exact setup, period.
And here's the other thing. You run what system?
Me?
Yeah, what system do you normally play?
Normally Palladium, but I'm working on my
It
own
doesn't
gamers
matter
stuff.
because there's other systems I can play with.
Fair. But I was just referring to my character in Bruce's game. It's like, I can find an exact replica of my character in the superhero world. That is how many superheroes there are.
I can play Indiana Jones.
Oh,
And I'm
that-
not getting into that argument ogre again. I did that a couple nights ago.
Actually, I think Indiana Jones would be a fun character to play.
Oh,
Just play a rogue scientist.
Yeah.
anyways, so Bruce, you said you wanted to cut off like
Every
20 minutes
character you
ago.
ever play in the game.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, like, guys, like, you're doing good and you're kind of playing within the sandbox that you see to get to the character you want to play. That's the main thing. As a GM, I want my players to be able to play a character they want to play. I want to be able to have a fun time. I want to give them a sandbox where they can do their stuff in. And at the end, I want them to be able to have that desire to come back, which is why I've started to master the art of blue balls. And, like, fucking Six Nations hit me with this last time. I'm sorry, Nerdy Ogre. Last time we played, your internet and the F-Mux didn't get along well. And you were like, after about the 7th or 8th disconnection, you said, fucking, I'm out. So I NPC'd both characters of yours, and you'd gotten a hit on that fucking hill giant. He smacked you down 2 times. You were laying on the ground, and you were trying to get up. And then she had tumbled around behind him. At the moment, she had gotten a couple flanking stabs in. And then he just grabbed her and started to smash her head. And about the same time, finally, the lightning bolt from Mongoose had hit, and he was getting ready to throw it. As he throws it, I said, and that's game! And I didn't even let him roll damage. And that's how we started today.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is.
Go ahead.
I'm always prepared for my character to die. I'm not that attentive.
Kill your cohort and your character today, and I was expecting to probably have a lot bloodier situation happen. The party completely, you guys did everything as GM that I was really impressed with, and worse yet, the Hill Giants triple-digit hit points didn't save his ass. But you guys, when we discuss things like this, you're going to have disagreements, but you have an idea of where you want to go with things. Kai might make Batman into the Uber monk. Donald might turn Batman into a rogue. You might just say Batman's a very intelligent fighter. The thing
I
is,
would make Batman a ninja.
Yeah,
I mean, I know it's not very imaginative, but
it's a good way of doing it, though.
Batman is straight up a ninja.
I would turn Batman into Red Hood just for the shits and giggles.
Batman might look at Batman and be like, "Fuck you, he's a wizard," And
Batman gets a Green Lantern ring. Oh shit!
Yeah, like I'm an alchemist, and I can make potions. This is what I do, and I've got all the money in the world to spend on reagents and fucking magic item creation, blah 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 blah. And you might go that way, and that really just getting your players to where they can see themselves as the character and actually role play. Like, getting back at the original argument Kai was having earlier today, getting to actually have the player just become that character, and even if it's just for a few minutes, just let them have that and let them breathe in that world that they're supposed to be in as that character. That's what matters. Your feats, your skills, your special abilities, your uses per day on whatever magic item you got, that stuff there, I don't think a GM really wants to hear about after the campaign's over and you're just kind of drinking or smoking and talking about the game. They want to know if you had fun and what was the parts of the campaign that you fucking fell in love with. I'm hoping that one day when we're done with this alpha test that we've got stories like that to tell each other and other people. Poor Janet, she's still like, I don't know what spells I've got. I'm like, I sent you a list of spells, cross reference them with Pathfinder. Here's your mana cost. Should be pretty easy. And she's still new to the hobby, so it's not connecting all the way with her. She's like, I think I'm slowing the game down. I'm like, no, just what do you want to do? And then once she's like, okay, if you'll help me walk through this, I'll get through it. It takes me 10 more seconds. No big deal.
Yeah.
But you guys have grabbed onto it really well. You're not having a problem. Thank you.
Yeah.
If you got problems with the campaign setting, let me know. If you got problems with the rules, let me know.
That's
I
not a
want the
problem.
rules to be supported to
Connection.
support the game world. Go ahead.
Yeah, but he said he lost connection. So it's surprising he's still here. I'd have to say my only yeah. Oh, he did. That's what he said. But I have to say my only complaint about
I had
Janet.
lost connection.
Yeah. Okay.
You have a problem with her?
I'd have to say my only complaint about Janet is she plays too much with the high levels, and she's used to being, this is the optimum move you should make, Janet.
We have no. See, that's not a problem. That is pure awesomeness. You know
No,
why that's
I
awesomeness?
want Janet to make her own decisions. If she thinks that we should have prayer, then we should have prayer. If she thinks we should have healing, then we should have healing. Janet should make her own fucking decisions. It is her character.
No, I disagree. She plays a cleric. You plug cleric into the wall. You charge them up. Then you use them when they are needed. Then you unplug them and let them just go do and talk to people. That's all you do. Janet is a sweet person that doesn't know enough about the game to actually run a character
Well,
fairly
no,
well.
that right there, I will agree with
but
Takai.
hold on.
Are you gonna say something nerdy?
Okay, but yeah. Here's the thing. I remember when I first got into one of the games I played, Dwarf Brother. All right.
You play dwarf? No.
And I
You
think
don't
the
tell me.
GM was expecting us to.
God love his internet.
And I, not knowing that there were issues between orcs and dwarves, marched on through instead of wasting time going around. I didn't know. Like, oh, a dwarf with the beer.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm like, wait, what? And that's when I learned there's some issues between.
One has herpes and the other one doesn't.
But yeah,
And so I think Janet, I think we, Crafting Gamer is right. We need optimal. That's how she's going to learn, and that's what's going to create those memories.
exactly. That's actually the type of example I was going to make. Was something Kai said once. If she can't make her own decisions, how is she going to learn what decisions she needs to make?
Well,
She's just going to sit there. Okay, what do I go do next, guys? What do you want to do? I don't know. I've been trained to do as told.
Die a lot.
That could happen.
it does happen.
You can't learn to make right decisions if you don't make wrong decisions. I'm sorry. It's just facts of life.
No, Facts of Life was a TV show.
Yeah, well, you take them good, you take them bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts
Here's
of
the
life.
thing.
And
He
that's
is
exactly
a
right.
new player. Like a child or a dog, you have to guide them until they can get start walking or pissing in the right spot on their own accomplishment. Now, the learning curve for a higher level game is definitely the learning curve for a low level game. But if she wants to sit at the big boys table, which she does quite well, she is going to ask, and for the most part, she kind of does what she wants. But they're asking somebody else what their opinion is not a bad thing. And until she all of us here have probably over I don't know, maybe 75 years of gaming experiences altogether. She doesn't. She's a sweet person who puts up with mine, Bruce, and other people's shenanigans.
Well, what I'm directly referring to, Connell, is not today's game, but the last game. She, in the middle of the fight, asked us what she should do. Asked
That's just
us.
her personality.
Yeah, that's she's worried.
Okay, so she doesn't get to have a personality. All right, she gets a thing for herself, but no personality. That works out well.
Hey, I was not saying it that way. I was saying that she needs to
No,
make
I
those
know you're
decisions for
not saying
herself.
it that way. I'm just solving a problem that you're having.
She's she means well too much sometimes.
Yeah.
That's literally my. I think what you guys are kind of noticing is that real life sometimes people will fall into a certain pattern, and if you try to gamify this, Janet's neutral good and her lack of experience is kicking her ass. And so she's literally looking for the best scenario because she treats our game like the high level game, which is good. It is good because she's doing her best to not ruin it for everybody with her naivete. And that's great. I want that. I want her friends to help her out a little bit. You guys don't have to give her a cheat sheet, which you don't have to, and you haven't.
Yeah.
But you guys have done a really good job of trying to help her do things. And I try to throw things up in the game world to kind of like their little signposts or suggestions that she can take off ramps and do that. But she means well way too much. And if you're gamifying that, that means she's neutral good. I can't make a bad guy neutral good unless it's an evil campaign. I just want you to know that. I have a hard time doing that. It's almost impossible for me to do something of that nature and magnitude. But
Yeah.
she's used to playing with a group of people that are optimized and they're playing with Hero Labs and they've cross-referenced their character output of DPM or DPR and she's used to that. She's in here. She's in this low-level game that doesn't have a written set of books. Oh shit! I'm sorry, Nerdy Ogre. Get over here. And she's playing this game. It's not high level by any means. High concept, but it's not high level. And she's trying her best. She's worried about the fact that like you guys would find another cleric to completely replace her. She's enjoying this. This is the first 3 years that she's been able to play a game because for all her life since the late 70s she's been exposed to D&D. But you know when you're a fucking Air Force brat, you know what happens? Every 4 years you're getting PCS somewhere else, or every 2 years. And her daddy was on the up and up. Her daddy was on a high road to promotion. So now you know that she had time for herself, and I started, hey man, you know, you're a pretty fun streamer to hang out with. You want to play in my games? Like, she's damn near smothering the party, and please let me help you. Okay.
I find it adorable.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
I want her to enjoy the game. I don't. And you guys can be constructive. We're not ripping on her by any means. She's a new player, and she literally means well. The biggest problem I have with her in the high level game is she will take the gold and all the gems and jewels that the party's finding and accruing, and Chris is churning out money at the fence, which now is Brooke's old character, which I think is hilarious. But Chris brings back her share and she gets it. And that she does not optimize her character. She does not go to the store and get her updated +3 leather armor upgraded +4 leather armor. What does she do? She takes this pile of gold, gems, and jewels and good tidings and goes to a orphanage and she dumps all of it. And the orphanage is like getting a hold of the church that's associated with them. Please give this lady about 120,000 gold worth of services because she's just given us physical gold and sapphires and magical items that we probably will never need. But we're going to hold this in the treasury and we're going to spend the money. Don't worry. We're gonna be back. We're gonna pay off the money we owe to the city. And thank you so much. Tell her we love her so much. And Chris is there for the rest of the party, just like looking at her like, the fuck? They just like look on their face like they ate a canary. Everybody else is there figuring out how much money they got to spend the blacksmith or the armor smith or the weaponsmith, and they're figuring out like over at Bob's used magic items or like Timmy's fucking pawn shop of magical gear. Everybody's there exchanging shit, and they hear Jan say, "I'm going to take this to the orphanage." What? So, as a GM, like, she doesn't realize it. Like, you're probably not supposed to do that. You can give a little bit. You can tithe like 10%. That's more than most players ever want to give. And most people in real life, they don't tithe that much either. But it's fun as fuck because she does that. And then, like, the church will come around like, we need to talk to you. And Chris, kind of being an asshole, I don't want to talk to NPCs. They're NPCs. I want to get back to the dungeon. Let's go to the dungeon. Well, let's go to the dungeon. And the church is there like, we want to tell you about your warranty. We're going to give you 125,000 gold worth of free services, including a possible resurrection if you need it. It's hard on us, but we can do that for you. The reason why is your cleric just gave us like enough money to pay off the Vatican's like student loans. Thank you. And that's something that goes on. Just I know you guys don't play with her in both campaigns like I do, but I'm just telling you, like, this is what I see from my perspective as a GM. It's over 30 years in this hobby. Like, I've never had a player this dedicated to literally trying to help out her entire party and bandage them up and fix them. Hey, Shadow Sun. And I've never met somebody that wants to go and help the fantasy world and give all of her, like, her bountiful wealth to them, like Mother Teresa. I've never seen this.
Well,
My tie to the church is to kill bad people. That's my 10%.
I've noticed if there's anything from Janet, if she was actually a rich person in real life, she would be one of those people who would be heralded by the church as a saint. I'm not even remotely joking.
You can't buy yourself sainthood. I'm Catholic. I know this. I tried.
You don't have billions upon billions of dollars.
They still can't
know
buy it.
that. You don't know that at all.
Right.
I
Give
love
us the way
that
you
scene.
live. Right.
Hey,
Tell me you don't have
I
money.
can be frugal.
I love that.
Go for it.
I love that scene in the original Roadhouse, where he's written that loft from that farmer, and the farmer's like, now look, it's not that I need the money, but if I don't charge you something, the Presbyterians around here will pray for my ruination. How does $100 sound? And Swayze's response, well, if it keeps you in the good graces of the church, it sounds just fine. And the farmer looks at him and says, isn't it peculiar how that very thing?
Hey, let's face it. I'm going to end up as a saint. All you did perform 3 great miracles and normally very, very dead. If I run into any more black cows in the middle of the highway and at 10, 11 o'clock at night, I can fix the first problem. The first 3 miracles is, have you met my daughter? She is a miracle all to herself. Second miracle is, me and Bruce are able to be Eskimo brothers and not kill each other. Third miracle is, I put up with you fuckers.
I have a quick question, Connell. That black cow, are you sure it wasn't a liquid wild turkey?
I don't drink wild turkey. Listen. In all the world of alcohol, there's only one proper drink for a proper Irishman to drink that's of a spirit. It's called whiskey. whiskey. America does not make whiskey. They make bourbon, and even that's questionable. True whiskey only comes from one part of the world, Ireland.
Yes, well, I don't give a shit because I drink rum.
But is it sparkling whiskey? Then no.
You know why the Irish don't rule the world? Because God gave them whiskey.
Oh, no. You see, here's the thing. They once ruled the world. They once had the most advanced civilization. They had technologies beyond imagining. And then whiskey was invented.
Wow. All right, Bubbles.
Well, guys, we're gonna get out of here. It's all
Yeah.
On that note,
I didn't get any dinner, and I should really go see about getting something to eat.
Yeah,
before I
go
go to bed.
get yourselves fixed up. Enjoy yourselves. I had a great time today. Nerdy, I know you had some internet issues or you had things going off on camera. I apologize, sir. But I'm just glad you could be here, part of this. Do you have anything before we leave that you'd like to say?
I think he's frozen.
Yep, well, it was frozen.
Yep.
Okay.
The best time to get frozen is when your finger's up your nose. So I'm just.
I like it whenever you fall asleep on cam and your mouth goes open.
I like it when
I fall asleep a lot.
I've done that. I've got no.
I hate to admit it, but I think I've fallen asleep in Bruce's game more than once because I do suffer from very slight narcolepsy.
I like it when Bruce falls asleep underneath the table during a Max show. And all you hear is snoring. Hey, where's Bruce?
Where the fuck is that? Where's Bruce? Fall asleep on stream. We're professionals. Guys, take care of yourselves. I'll see you here tomorrow with Janet. And thanks for being here.
Good night, everybody.
I'd say thank you for the chat, for being here. Thank you.